and stream it. All right.
It's the Miss
Everybody come on in.
Knockout
Who we got in the
Show
check-in?
on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Miss Knockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed-ify, let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show, hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with Miss Knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Miss Knockout Show. The Miss Knockout report will start soon, where I'll be uploading different reports about viral stories. And, I've been just going live, but I'm getting ready to start uploading stuff. You can watch my replay back. Give it a thumbs up. All right. Watch my replay back every day. When I record it, I'll let you know. All right. On a new that rap. Oh, look at the AI summary. The AI summary says Knockout is sharing new stuff about her rap song. Yeah. So everybody come on in. How's everybody doing today? What's up with everybody? So we get ready to get started. We're going to talk about, first I wasn't going to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to talk about this. But I guess we're going to, talk about the way that somebody went up in the cash in the White House and got busy. You know what I'm saying? Got busy one time. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to set something up. So this is like, how many times has this happened, y'all? How many times has this happened that somebody went and made an attempt at I'm trying to set something up while I'm talking to y'all. Pardon me, y'all, but I gotta get this. How many times have since he's been in office this time, right? He been like tried. This is like the second time, right? I want to get it 3 times. Oh, somebody said 3 times. Is it 3 times? Is it 3 times? Wow. So the first time, okay, so I know one time was when he held his ear. Okay, that was one time, right? Then it's one time now where they're at this dinner.
Again, maybe
okay? And now it's one time now where they're at this dinner. So now where was the third time? Refresh my memory. What was the third time? Oh, okay. So the ear was when he was out and he was still out talking, right? Then we got now with the guy running around at the dinner. Now, what was the other time, y'all? Well, what was the other time? Refresh my memory. Who knows what the other time is? Let me put y'all to talking. So everybody, tapify, shareify. I didn't even shareify it out yet. We're going to get started. Let's build the room up, and we're going to get started. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Sunday fun day? Okay, let me share the live to some people, and we're going to get started. All right, because we got a whole lot to talk about. I've been gone for a few days because I had some bookings and some stuff I had to do for music and otherwise. But I'm always right back at it. All right. And we'll resume the natural and, time next week. I got to decide on the time, but I think I want it to be in the morning. So probably going to go for like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. All right. So we're still sharing the live. I want you to share it out too. All right. Share it to 10 to 15 people. And then we're going to get started. All right, so let me share it to my people, and then we're going to get started. We're going to see who we got in the building. All right. And we got a lot to talk about. We got D4VD. We got more Ashley, Joe McCain stuff. All right. And we got Donnie, and they calling him Donnie Dementia now. That's his new nickname. Allegedly, everything's all alleged in Miss Knockouts Live. I'm just sharing it with some more people, y'all. Okay, everything's all alleged in Miss Knockouts Live. So come on in. And we're gonna talk about that first because I can't talk about it the way I really want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I wanna be, a little I wanna be a little compassionate for the people who still following Donald Trump. Believe it or not, there's people that are. Can't you believe? Isn't it like kind of unbelievable that we got these people that still following behind this man? I find it unbelievable. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. But hey, everybody's entitled to follow who they want to follow. You know, it's a free world. All right. A golf course. Oh, golf. He's on the golf course. Oh, on the golf course. Oh, they tried to pim on the golf course. But Zoe, was that this term? Was that this term? I know the same guy who was doing the do with Diddy at the Diddy. He was the e-worker. He also was in trouble because he did something at Mar-a-Lago. Are you talking about that guy? That's that guy. Now I don't know. Yes, second attempt. Yeah, so that attempt with the guy who was talking about Diddy, who also pumed at Mar-a-Lago. I don't think it was this term. I don't think it was this term. I think it was another term. All right. All right, everybody come on in. It looks like it was a attempt, another attempt at the White House. I don't know what kind of attempt it was because the guy was way off. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up my notes. The guy was way off. So there was anybody who was under a rock. There was an attempt at the White House where a Pum man came in and Pum, but he Pumed all in the dinner. They were having a big dinner at the White House. At this point, for me, right, I don't even know why they have Donald Trump out at events. I mean, they got Secret Service around, they got, different people around, right? And let me pull up my notes. Hold on. Okay. So at this point, I don't even know why he comes outside with all the stuff he got going on. They were so now I couldn't get online for these last couple of days because I had business to take care. Evidently, when I'm not here, I'm not sitting somewhere with my thumb up my behind, I'm booked and busy, right? But when this popped up, I said to myself, I don't even know why at this point he comes outside and goes to events. I don't even know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you even come outside? You should stay inside. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even go on the golf course at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because he is seriously not most of the world's favorite person right now. And I don't, but I want to talk about stuff with him and I want to be respectable because believe it or not, there's people that still follow behind him. Believe it or not. I mean, The picture of him as Jesus, which he tried to lie and say that he thought he was a doctor. Come on, did that really look like a doctor? Did that really look like Did that really look like a doctor to you? Because you know that that wasn't no doctor, sir. You know that you want to depict yourself as Jesus, walking on water, could do anything you want. You know what I'm saying? Had the red sweater on, glowing face, glowing. And you talking about that some doctor. What kind of doctor is that? Dr. Jesus? Right? So the Dr. Jesus picture is when a lot of other people jumped over. Everything he does, a lot droves of people jump off of the ship. Right? Everybody got their limits. Good morning. Happy Sunday fun day. Who we got in the building here? We got Luna Bell. We got Dr. H. We got Shauna. We got Porsche. We got E-Money. We got Deshaun. Miss Knockout Clips. We got Daryl, Carrie, Charlene, Ramona, Aileen, Naila, Riri, One Way, Joyce, Lisa, the Tiffany, Lady Voles, Oh Baby, or is it Deep? Oh Baby, Deborah K, Blessing Brown. Okay, hold on. I was almost at that. Thank you, Luna Bell. Doing a little roll call so I won't miss anybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, let me see. Hold on. I was at the tail end of it and then it stopped. Okay. Shaq T. Is that the Shaq T I know? Stella Melendez, Patricia Williams, Mark Dawson, Veronica Diaz, Shirley, Nay, Oh Baby, I think I said before, Stella. Thank you so much for the hand. Thank you, Jules. Thank you, One Way. User 661 and Genesis. Everybody's in the building. Okay, I just wanted to do a little roll call to acknowledge everybody's in the building and all my people that's on Y to the Tubesies. I see you, Charlene. Good morning. I see you, Thorough HC. All right. Hello, nice reading Bible scriptures. Thought he was DMX right before he uh, um, uh, passed away, reading Bible scriptures in the streets. Okay. Oh, that's what DMX was doing? Well, they said DMX collapsed and he was at somebody's house or something and he collapsed. He was on the floor. Okay. I don't know how far along he was reading Bible scriptures in the street, right? But happy blessed. Hey, Charlene. Shay, I have one person I haven't seen is Mississippi. Anybody seen Mississippi? I just noticed she hasn't come in a couple of days. Kiss my grits. What's up, Kiss my grits? All right, everybody. So let's talk about the first thing on the agenda. Okay, on Saturday night, April 25th, Pum Pum fire broke out at the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, cabinet members, journalists, celebrities, political figures were inside when the security scare happened, and Trump and other protectees were evacuated and reported safe. So this did not happen at the White House per se. It happened at the Hilton where they were having a dinner in Washington, the Washington Hilton. You look gorgeous today. So thank you so much. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, thank you. One of my eyes are flicking out on me. I gotta take my lens out when I get out of here. Did you see how fast that brother ran past the FBI too? Yeah, I gotta watch the video again. You know what I'm saying? Now the guy was way far away. Like not way far away, but digging ahead today. Thank you so much. Thank you, dude. Hey, what's up, dude? What's up, Hancock? So the guy went running through another area. He didn't make it to where the president was, right? So what was his deal? What was his motive? What was his intention? Okay, they apprehended him, so I'm sure they'll be able to talk to him. The suspect has been identified by multiple outlets as Cole Thomas Allen, 31, from Torrance, California. Authority says that he appeared to be acting alone, and he reportedly was armed with a pumy, uh, uh, big pum and a little pum and a couple of knifeifications. According to reports, the suspect rushed through or towards the security screening area near the boardroom and opened fire. Okay, so that what that means was that he knew that he wasn't getting past security with the pum on him and the knifeification on him. He knew this. All right. Some of the comments in this live were filtered. What are y'all saying? Type it another way. What are y'all saying? What are y'all saying that there's filtering the comments? What are y'all saying? I want to know. So he kind of figured that he wouldn't get past the security with the knifeification and the pum. All right. So the pum magnet. Yeah, he's a pum magnet. That's why I said, dude, if I was them, now I wish he would come outside and be everywhere with no security. If I had it my way, you know what I'm saying, I would fire security or tell him he don't need security. You don't need security going out. As a matter of fact, you know, we want to all chip in. Okay, we all chip in $1 a piece and send you on a grand trip to Iran so you could go over there and talk to the troops and you could leave the security at home. If I had it my way, I wish he wouldn't have any security. But he does have security. Right? So I don't know why at this point, do you think that you could sit at these dinners or be outside or any appearance? I don't think in your mind, why do you think that you can do that when you are the least favorite person in the world today? Why do you feel like you could even come outside? You need to stay inside in a bunker somewhere, sir. But he was at this dinner, so the guy knew that he wouldn't make it past the checkpoints. So what did he do? He pumed. Hey, Shalea. They let him stay outside. They let him stay outside. Yeah, we're gonna go to some clips in a minute. We just want to go through my notes first. Then we're gonna go through some clips. So he pumed through the checkpoint where the where you go through and get checked for any paraphernalias. All right, because he knew he wasn't gonna make it through that. He knew it, right? So he got in some area and he pumed. They got the president out there. You see him talk to him. They get him on out of there. Okay, the guy's name is Cole Thomas Allen. He's 31 years old. 31 is the magic number. 31 seems like the magic number when everybody has something wow happening to him. Ashley Janae, 31. Cole Thomas, 31. From Torrance, California. #VIP. Now, did he... Thank you, Zoe. Thank you. Thank you for the sheep. Did he travel there just for this? Right? Did he travel there just for this? I'm sure the FBI and Cockeyed and them going to pick his brain. All right? Good. They say Cockeyed, allegedly Cockeyed was suifying some publications because some people around him, in which they got a lot of moles around them now, who are feeding the media all the dirt on them. But ironically, it's about 12 or more moles and people around that went. The greatest love. Good morning. That went to the media and told them that Cockeyed was drinking and everything's all alleged and it's not that wrong. Okay, I don't know if he was drinking or not drinking, so I can't say. All right. I hope he does get fired next, Hancock. I hope he does get fired. I'm surprised Pam Bondi got fired because she was doing a good job on lying for him at every turn, at every deposition. Now she's dodging that deposition. Now she is no longer in her position. She doesn't have the level of protection anymore. So she's really dodging those depositions. She's really dodging them. You know what I'm saying? Because when you are in the positions that they're in, FBI head, Pond Bundy got set up. I believe everybody around him is a pawn, including him. Everybody around him is a pawn, including him. He's a nothing but a mere pawn in the game of politics. You know what I'm saying? Trump got to do what other people say to do too. Please believe it. Because I also read Cockeyed is next, Cuckoo Eye. He said Cuckoo Eye is next. And I hope when Cockeyed, I hope when and if he gets fired, right, Cockeyed, I hope he goes rogue and tells all the inside secrets. Don't y'all? This is when it's going to get real good. Thank you, Chosen. This is when it's going to get real good when Cockeyed gets fired, right? And he goes and he tells all the stories on all the dirt, on the inside dirt. Good morning, Chosen. You know what I'm saying? And he's the one person, him and Pam Bondi are the two people that I wish would go rogue. Those are two people that I wish would go rogue right now. I really do. Because I know that they got a lot of story to tell. They got a lot of story to tell. So did this guy travel from California just to do this? All right. He's like the type to let it all loose. He seems like, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you, Deshaun. Where's Mississippi at? I keep saying it. I feel like, she's been missing for a little while. And she's usually front and center. All right. Let me make sure I shared it to her. All right. Everybody come on in. We are talking about right now the Pum at the House dinner. Okay. It didn't happen at the White House, but it happened at the dinner. Wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. Right, it didn't happen at the White House, but it happened at the dinner at the Hilton in Washington. Okay, his name is Cole Thomas Allen. They caught him right away. He got caught with a big pum. He got caught with a hand pum, and he got caught with knifeifications. And what was he doing with knifeifications? It's all good. Hey, Spooky. According to reports, the suspect rushed through or towards the security screening area near the ballroom and opened pum. So in other words, like I said, this guy Cole knew that he wasn't going to get in. He knew that he wasn't going to get in. He knew it. So what did he do? He went up and he pum the whole area. Right? So he opened fire in that whole area. One law enforcement officer was hit in a pum resistant vest and is expected to recover. The suspect was taken into custody and not pum, though he was taken for a hospital evaluation. I guess as protocol. The CBS reports that Allen had allegedly sent writings to family members before the attack. So he was talking to family members. Thank you, everybody. Get your orange heart. Everybody get your orange heart. Everybody on the Y to the Tubesy, give this video a thumbs up. All right. Hey, what's up, Ethel Labunda? Hi. How you doing, Ethel? So everybody come on in. Everybody in Y to the Tubesy, give me a thumbs up. Everybody over here, let's continue tapifying, shareifying, likeifying, Join the super fans. Make sure you join the Discord. All right. The Tin Man was talking like he was so hard but scared. Oh, who's the Tin Man? Who's the Tin Man? To me, anybody that looks like the Tin Man out of all of them is the Kennedy guy. That's the head of the health thing. He reminds me of the Tin Man. The Tin Man. That's funny. Slide some oil to me. All right. So Cole Thomas Allen, the attackifier, was talking to family members, and he sent writings to family members before the attack, and one family member alerted the police. Wow, with family like that, who needs enemies, right? What are you laughing at, Shalea? What are you laughing at, Shalea? With family members like that, who needs police? What the heck you doing reporting this, doggone family member? Damn it, right? Throwing him under the bus. So he sent writers to family members. One family member alerted police. Official says that the writings did not clearly name the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so investigators are still working on a motive. All right? Boo family member. Right. Keep your mouth shut and let that man do what he need to do. Right? Snitches, dig ditches. Officials believe the target might have been Trump administration officials, possibly including Trump himself. Well, duh, what you think? I think he's the main person that he wanted to go in there and get. But I don't know. I'm not in his brain. All right? Attack a fire. That's how I switch stuff around. That's how I switch stuff around over here. All right, Riri? Yeah, the attack-a-fire. All right, so they believe that Trump himself might have been the target, but the motive is still under investigation. Potential changes include assaulting a federal potential charges include assaulting a federal officer, discharging a firearm, attempting to unalive a federal officer, and more serious charges could follow depending on what investigators find. A key security question now is how he got so close with the weapons. Well, he got so close. I mean, I can answer that. He got so close because he got up to the security check. The security check is where you go to check to see if you got any pum-pums or anything on you that could cause harm. He didn't get checked through the security. That's how he got all that stuff on him. He didn't get checked yet. Right? He was? Yeah. So it's a highly monitored the suspect may have assembled a long weapon in a highly monitored storage bar cart area near the terrace level entrance before moving towards the ballroom. That detail is being reported, but investigators have not fully laid out the official timeline yet. All right. So on that note, let's go to some clips. All right. Let's go to some clips. Hold on. Let me find a good one. A lot of them are real short. But we're going to find a good one. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me find a good one. Hold up. And meanwhile, everybody tapify, everybody shareify, everybody likeify. Let me go to Midas Touch. So while I pull up my clips, everybody come on in. Okay. Everybody, thank you, Shauna. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see if we could go in here. Oh, where's my door? Hold on. Okay, so let's pull up some clips now. Okay, we're going to pull up some clips. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let's pull up some clips. There's a lot of video, okay, because I guess the dinner was being, filmed, right? Red flags exposed. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Shots fired at dinner. Hold on. Okay, so let's go here first, because I know he's gonna be thorough. All right. Top of five. Everybody fine. Said shoot. Everybody fine. Everybody share fine. And let's get to these clips of the Pum Puman in the White House identification. I'm telling you, thank you much, Pat. They have got to know the T, the man that starts with T. They got to know that not one, not two.
Connected to
many thousands of people. It's going to be a long, hot
longer. Thank you very much.
Okay, hold on. Let's back it up. And now let's get into it.
This is a breaking news alert. Shots have been fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump and Melania evacuated. The shooter has been apprehended. The shooter did not appear to be all that close to where Donald Trump and Melania and where the center stage was. However, what we're hearing is as they were the shooter was potentially walking through the magnometer. That's when he started opening fire. There's some conflicting report condition of the shooter. The term now being used is apprehended. We will get you more information there. A chaotic scene has just unfolded at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's now officially canceled. We're learning right now as a result of this shooting.
They need to cancel everything.
The Secret Service had secured the location. Chaotic scenes coming out of the building. Well, let me just share with you the moment where Secret Service evacuated Donald Trump, Melania, and the people who were on stage. Let's play that clip right now. You see that over there. Here are some photos that we're getting from this incident. You see MAGA Mike Johnson there running away with Secret Service. More individuals running away. Secret Service securing the scene. You see RFK Jr. Over there. What we're hearing is that the shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was armed with a rifle and a magazine. This is what eyewitnesses have been telling Wall Street Journal and others. A guest at the dinner, Erin Thielman, a military veteran, left the ballroom to call her son and heard 3 loud bangs that she believed to be gunfire. She saw a man fall flat right in front of her. He was carrying what appeared to be a rifle and magazines. Thielman then went downstairs and saw security people pulling out their pistols. What Fox and others are reporting as well is that the suspect attempted to charge the metal detectors at the venue entrance, was shooting in the vicinity of Secret Service members, and that's when they started firing back. Fox reports that the suspect is in custody. See, a shooter is dead. We have these photos right here, though, which are the first images coming out.
So I don't think that he's unalive, the shooter. I think he's still alive.
who's now in custody. You can see right there the individual on the ground. We'll show you more of the chaotic footage right here when Secret Service evacuated Trump, Melania, and everybody who was on the stage who was rushed out. Here, play this clip.
So that's them coming to tell them that they got to get the heck out of there. Listen to the music that they're playing. They playing some ragtime stuff.
The following message was posted from Donald Trump at 6:17 p.m. West Coast time, 9:17 East Coast. Quite an evening in D.C. Secret Service.
I want to know what celebrities was there. What celebrities was there? It's like, you better not show your face. What celebrity would go to an event like that? Y'all better not show your face. Morning, hey, how you doing there? Morning to you. Good morning.
Law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended.
What's up, Deb?
And I have recommended that we let the show go on, but will entirely be guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly, regardless of that decision. Different than planned, and we'll just plain have to do it again. Donald J. Trump. And then he posted about 20 minutes later or so, law enforcement has requested that we leave the premise consistent with protocol, which we will do immediately. I will be giving a press conference in 30 minutes from the White House briefing room. The First Lady plus the Vice President and all cabinet members are in perfect condition. We will be speaking to you in a half an hour. I've spoken with all the representatives in charge of the event, and we'll be rescheduling within 30 days. Donald J. Trump. We'll show you over here, though, where the host, Wai Zhejiang, informed the White House Correspondents' Dinner audience that the program was going to resume, but then ultimately it didn't resume. Here's what she had to say. Play this clip.
We have an announcement.
One too many pairs of shoes?
All right. It's the commercial, y'all. Everybody
Sell
come
them on
on in.
Visit.
Everybody Tapify. Everybody Sharefy.
It's so easy.
We're talking about the Pum that happened
Take
at
clear
the White
pictures.
House dinner. Okay,
That will
yesterday.
seal the deal and make your sale with
They
zero
thought they
fees.
was going to go out and eat,
Earning
and
extra
everything
cash
was
is really
sweet.
that simple.
They thought
One
everything
pair
was
down,
sweet, and look what
5
happens.
more to go.
From this, you
Download
got to
Visit and
know
start selling today.
that he better watch it. He better watch
If
out.
you have ever wanted to land a
Okay.
100 to 150K a year, fully
Because
remote
you are
career
not
in as
the
little as
crowd
next 4
favorite.
months,
Let's listen. Let's continue to listen.
I know everyone's going to want as many details as possible, and right now we don't have that, but I can tell you that our program is going to resume momentarily.
Now, why would you resume a program after somebody pulled out a Pum at the dinner? Why is this dinner so important that you got to keep going after somebody pulled out the Pum and had knifeifications on them and all of that? What would make you continue this dinner? Are y'all that desperate to eat? Come on now.
And we will have more details to share also momentarily. But for now, please just be patient as we figure out just how much time it will be, but it shouldn't be that much longer. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It shouldn't be that much longer.
You know, and notably before the event started, you had Caroline Levitt on Fox saying the following. Let's play it.
Ready to rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble.
Uh-huh.
I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
So
I love it all. And you wrote most
did you
of it,
see
you
what
said.
she said?
I can't take
So this is her talking before the dinner. And she said, and I quote, "There will be shots fired." No pun intended. Girl, did you hear that? Or am I bugging? Am I bugging, or did we just hear that being said? Did she just say there will be shots fired against who? Well, we know the usual. Biden lives rent-free in his head. Obama rent-free in his head. So, Obama was getting him good at that other dinner. Did y'all see the other dinner when Obama was talking? Obama was getting him good. Talk about shots fired. Wow.
Credit. In true Donald Trump fashion, the man puts his pen to the paper himself. So it's a lot of...
Just another angle of the chaos unfolding at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You can see for yourself. Let's play it.
Katie, do you have all your stuff?
Wolf Blitzer was in the vicinity of when the shooting took place. Here's what he was telling CNN. Let's play this clip.
Yes, I can hear. Wolf, can you estimate the number of shots you heard fired, or
and I'm guessing I heard at least a half a dozen, maybe 6 gunshots. I mean, they were booms. They were so loud, and I haven't heard gunshots like that in a long time. And it was very close to me, but the next thing I knew, I couldn't see anything else because a couple of police officers were jumping on me and trying to protect me. So I was down on the ground with police officers on top of me.
Could you hear the officers talking to the gunman, and what were they saying?
I think by then the gunman was shot. I could be wrong, but the gunman had stopped firing and he was on the ground. And I'm standing outside. There's a lot of FBI.
It's like
a lot of
she must have
police, a lot of
manifested it.
Military personnel.
Right.
That's
so true.
It looks like it's beefing
That's what I was thinking. Like when she said it's going to be a lot of shots fired, right? It's almost like you said, she manifested that. She manifested it into fruition. See how you got to be careful what you say? I know she's somewhere sitting in her hotel room or wherever she's at. Like, wow, did I really just say that? Did it really just happen? What happened?
big time. There's a lot of DEA. There's a lot of law enforcement here dealing with this because they don't.
More of Wolf Blitzer describing what took place. Let's play this clip.
After they served the appetizers, I walked out to simply go to the men's room, but you have to walk up these stairs and walk out. And which I was doing, and the big event was taking place. All of a sudden, I start hearing gunshots in the hall right near me. And the next thing I knew, a police officer threw me into the ground and was on top of me. And I was listening to those shots. And then they grabbed me, the police officers, and they take me back into the men's room where it was safe. And there were about 15 other men who are stuck in there. They won't let them out. And that's what happened. And then after a while, they let me out, and I'm out now. I'm not back in the ballroom, but everything is apparently closing down. Very scary incident. All of a sudden, the guy with a weapon, and it was a very, very serious weapon, he starts shooting. And I happened to have been a few feet away from him.
Very serious weapon.
He was shooting, and of course, the first thing that went through my mind is he trying to shoot me. And I don't think he was trying to shoot me, but I was very close to him as the gunshots were fired. And it was very, very scary, but I'm okay now.
Anna Kyler describing what she.
Can you tell us?
I just spoke with someone I know who had been heading out of the ballroom to walk upstairs to go to that sort of lobby concourse area where the restrooms are. And on the wall by those stairs is glass. And as he just started to ascend the stairs, all of the glass started to shatter and rain down sort of from above as he was walking up from the bullet. So he heard multiple gunshots as he was about to ascend into the area where this was all happening. And he couldn't see because he was actually below.
That's exactly. So we have somebody that's explaining what she said, right? But I just want to say, Shauna, that's exactly my thoughts and sentiments. Are you so desperate for this function to go on that you'll say that this function will continue after somebody pulled out the pow and people running out there for the people in the actual boardroom look like they were lost because it happened outside before he got to the check-in point, right? But still, that's something like that should be taken very, very seriously. Suppose he wasn't acting alone. Suppose he had somebody else there. You don't know. And you talking about the dinner is getting ready to continue. Continue where? I'm bring my behind home. We ain't continuing with you, darling. We are going home. Okay? Let's listen.
Oh, but obviously he could see all of the glass coming down.
Right.
And that person came back inside to the ballroom. But when we were inside of the ballroom, we couldn't necessarily hear that. The reaction of the Secret Service was really what startled everyone, and they just ducked for cover. But he had seen this, a lot of glass shattering, and that's actually an exit of the ballroom that we are not being permitted to go out right now and get some air from. There's other exits where they're permitting people to get a little bit of air from, and that's the door that is no longer open.
A notable fact.
Do you talk about getting some air? I'm going to go get permanent air, get in my ride, and going home, and I'm going to open my window at home and get some more air. Ain't nobody getting no more air, and come back in there, right? Now, a lot of people are saying what y'all are saying. Everything in Miss Knockout's Live is alleged from the time I open the screen to the time I close the screen. Everybody's saying what y'all are saying. Everybody's saying that what if they feel like it was staged, allegedly. Now, in my mind, I wouldn't put it past the man that starts with a T, I wouldn't put it past them staging stuff. Right? But the only thing about it now is I would say his mind is really, really gone. We got, and I'm going to pull this up, we got his sister talking, we got his cousins talking, we got his family talking on how they're observing him have the same characteristics his father had before he was unalive due to dementia. Okay, they said dementia runs in the family. The cousin, the niece, family members are talking. You know what I'm saying? He's not too tight with a lot of his family members. Mary Trump gets on. She talks about him a lot, right? But his mind is not like it used to be. And that's the only reason why I don't think it was staged. I think that people really want to get that ass. I think that people really want to get him. And it's different people from different places, different walks of life. I think that we don't know because we're us. So we don't know all the people that's out there that's demented enough in the mind to carry these things out. Okay. He staged it so he can say that he needs the ballroom completed at the White House. Now that's kind of a good point. That's kind of a good point. I never thought of that, Shauna. I never thought of that. Oh, I need to. So they no pun intended, but they deaded that White House project, right? Didn't they say that he couldn't do the ballroom? And now he might say that I need the ballroom because I can't go out. Look, people want to pick me off. when I go to other people's ballroom. So we want our own ballroom so nobody can get in there. I wouldn't put it past now that. Somebody got their thinking caps on. I wouldn't put that past them. I wouldn't put that past them. You know what I'm saying? But he probably got a little help because I'm telling you, I know y'all seen the videos of him falling asleep. Who's seen the videos of him falling asleep? This man said a while ago, right? This man said that he's falling asleep in front of cameras. I would never fall asleep in front of the cameras. Remember he was talking about Biden like a dog? I would never fall asleep in front of the cameras. Oh, he's falling asleep on camera. Oh. Now look who's falling asleep on camera. When Biden did it, Biden wasn't in a meeting. He was on the beach or somewhere, or he was somewhere. You in a meeting falling asleep because you just can't help yourself. Mother Nature is going to take over in the worst way. You can't help yourself. But that is a very good point that this, and I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put it past them putting this up as everything's all alleged. Everything's all alleged, but I would not put it past them setting this up. I would not put it past him setting this up so that he can build that boardroom saying, see, they trying to get me. Now, I do believe one officer got pum in his bulletproof vest. Because when you're doing these things, if you are set OP, OFC, it's a setup. It's a setup. Yeah, I got to let y'all come up and talk. I got to let y'all come up and talk. Do y'all want to come up? Because this is a very interesting conversation. This is a very interesting conversation. I need to let y'all come up and talk. You can come up on the wide to the tubesy side too. You don't have to show your face. I could bring you up in my StreamYard. I don't know how to make the link. I gotta figure it out. Right? But that is very interesting. Very interesting. Let's finish listening to the
also, this is the same hotel outside of which John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan in 1981. Maggie Haberman explaining that as well. That's what we know from now. We'll see if there's any additional information as well. But we will keep you posted every step of the way, and we'll keep you posted every step of the way. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers.
Okay, so let's go to this other one. Hold on, y'all. So yeah, I believe that it's possible that they set this stage up. Look, in the entertainment business, right? They stage things all the time. Beefs.
I have completely abandoned ChatGPT. It just keeps failing me time after time after time, and I can't stand it. I know.
A lot of these beefs are staged. A lot of things are staged in entertainment. To keep people relevant. I wouldn't put it past him staging stuff. They said the last thing was staged when he had the wound to his ear and he put his fist up like he was Captain America. Right?
More on the suspect now. 3 sources tell CNN that authorities have identified this man as Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from California. The D.C. police chief said the suspect appeared to be a lone actor, was believed to be staying at the Washington Hilton where this dinner was happening. CNN's Brian Todd has more on the suspect and what we've learned this morning about the Secret Service agent who was shot during the attack.
Officer who was in the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Anthony Guglielmi, the chief of communications for the Secret Service, telling CNN that the officer in question has been released from the hospital and, quote, the ballistic vest helped us avoid a potential tragedy. That is according to Anthony Guglielmi, chief of communications for the U.S. Secret Service. That officer released from the hospital, Anthony Guglielmi, declining to name the officer or the hospital where he was treated, but the officer has been released, according to the Secret Service. Some other information we're getting, according to sources who spoke to CNN, the suspect is identified as Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from Torrance, California. Now, according to the interim Washington Metropolitan D.C. Police Chief Jeffrey Carroll, he said that the suspect was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and in this exchange. Chief Carroll saying that the suspect and law enforcement officers did exchange gunfire, and the chief saying that they believe that the suspect may have been a guest at the Washington Hilton Hotel, the same hotel where this incident occurred. The chief saying that they secured a room there and are trying to determine the contents of that room, so that will provide some critical information. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Pirro, the suspect faces 2 charges at least. One of them is using a firearm during a crime of violence. The other is assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. And some quick information on this alleged suspect's background. According to public records that CNN was able to sift through, he worked as a teacher and a video game developer. According to a link, that is a test prep and tutoring company. CNN has reached out to C2 for comment. We have not heard back from them. C2, according to its records, did name Allen as quote team.
Thank you so much, Abby. Thank you.
California Institute of Technology in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering.
So he was a smart guy.
Computer science from Cal State University.
He was a smart guy, y'all.
Last year in 2025. According to Federal Election Commission records, he donated $25 to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2024.
You heard what he said?
Described himself in his LinkedIn profile as
So you heard what he said? He donated to Kamala Harris's campaign. Now that's saying right. That's saying a lot right there, because that's saying that he's not for him. Okay, not too smart. He got caught. Yes, he did get caught.
Video game developer.
He did get caught.
He appears to have published at least one game, an indie game called Boredom, for sale on the Steam gaming platform. So a little bit more of the background of this alleged Cole.
Supervisory Special Agent Jason Pack. Jason, hello to you. We've not heard anything yet about whether Allen is cooperating with investigators.
Hey,
but
Lizzie,
the
thank you.
FBI has searched a home linked to this suspect. We've got video of it from Torrance, California. Detail for us just the work that's happening to get the answer to the 2 big questions.
You have to break that down. I'm not
why
trying to understand
and
it.
the target that's happening right now.
Victor, good morning. And those are the 2 most important questions this morning. There's a lot of work going on in 2 locations and maybe more that we don't know about. Clearly, the FBI's evidence response team there at the hotel in Washington, and now we see the scene fan out into California there in Torrance, where FBI agents are likely executing a search warrant to get to that why. They're looking for pieces of evidence in there, computers, phones, writings. Was there a manifesto sometimes that we see? Or importantly, if there's not, that also says something. So there's a lot of work going into that effort to figure out what happened and why it happened. So that why piece we're seeing it in Torrance there, and as the agents and the investigators in Washington piece together some of that trajectory, we don't know where all the shots have gone. So the FBI lab and the evidence response team will do some trajectory analysis and see where those rounds went and who may have fired them. And we are still unclear about that, but as they piece that together, it's important, Victor, because they'll take those pieces of information and match that up with some of those charges that the United States Attorney announced last night.
Yeah. You mentioned the potential for a manifesto. And listen, we've covered so many of these that often we find a manifesto online. Now, let's go through what we know about this suspect. This is someone who came to this event, according to law enforcement, was a guest at the hotel, had this long gun, had a pistol, handgun, several knives, and picked not only an event that the president was attending, but also literally the most well-known names and most influential people in media. Is this the type of suspect who would know why he's doing this, considering the event he picked?
Mm.
Yeah,
Good
I think that's a
question.
fair question and just shows you the level of preparedness and premeditation. You just don't wake up and decide to go to the White House correspondence. Hired a lot of pre-planning, a lot of thinking, probably a lot of research. And the fact that he was able to travel from California, we think, all the way to Washington, hotel rooms there.
So the fact that he traveled from California all the way to Washington and landed, hey, Kalila, hey, and landed at this dinner, right? It kind of tells me that I would say that he planned and set it out to go to, because why would you go to Washington? What are you in Washington for? Because I know that there's a dinner and I can go and do some things. So I feel like he set, he planned it. I feel like he planned it, most definitely. Hold on, they asked me to verify myself. Yo. Hold on, yo. Thank you so much, Kalila. So let's listen.
Not cheap either. So doing the retrace of the financials to how he got there, who he may have spoken with, and all the people he may have interacted with. They're pulling the hotel video to be able to see where he's come and gone there while he was at the hotel, and how did he get the weapons in. So a lot of questions to answer there. But as far as the reason, clearly you have some of the most experienced journalists in the world in the same room with the world leaders. And that certainly says something about his motivation, I would think.
Can you explain something? Control room, let's put up the picture of Alan on the floor face down. Yes, this picture.
Many questions, right? Right, dude?
Many of these,
a lot of questions
after which the shooter has been apprehended. And it appears he's obviously shirtless. I don't know what else he has on, but he's covered by a Mylar blanket. Is it protocol to take the suspect's clothes off? I've never seen this. Explain why we're seeing this, him in this condition.
They took his clothes off.
Well, they probably were looking for up in the waistband, those types of things. And then you do a full search on that. So this appears to be some sort of full search. It does look like that blanket on top of him there. So
I think that they took all his clothes off because we're dealing with the warification, right? And they want to make sure he didn't have the boom, 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 the boom, 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 boom on him. All right? Because there's one thing, another thing to have a boom, So insider and true. You think it's an inside job? A lot of stuff that's going on right now with Trump, I believe, is an inside job and going to be inside job. I believe there's a lot of people that can't stand his guts, but are sticking around so that they can find out stuff and give it and feed it to us. The two people I want to go rogue is cockeyed, the head of the FBI, Patel, and Pam Bundy. All right? Marjorie could only go so much rogue because she was on the inside, but she was to keep your enemies closer. That's right. It's going to be a lot of people, and I said this before, and I said this weeks ago. There's a lot of people around the man that starts with a T. Hey, everybody. What's up, Great Grabs? That do not like him, but that's going to stay around because they're getting information and they're going to feed it to the media. Now, one thing I seen that kind of made me sad was that, and we're going to go over this, what's her name? What's the black lady's name that was running for Congress in Texas? What's her name again? I don't know why her name is slipping my mind. What's her name, y'all? The one that was always vocal. And she just lost the Congress run in Texas. Thank you, Deshaun. Thank you. What's her name? Her name Melanie? No. What is her name, y'all? I don't know why her name is slipping my mind. Okay, let's keep the one that's always a Jasmine Crockett. That's right. Jasmine Crockett says that she will be leaving Congress in January. I said, boy, this is the only person that stuck up, that stood up, the only person. And this is exactly why she says she's quitting. Hey, Jeb. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you, Jeb. Thank you. Everybody blessify Miss Knockout. Everybody tapify, shareify. Everybody put hashtags. Hashtags in the comments, y'all. Hashtags in the comments. Join the superfan. So Jasmine Crockett said that she's leaving because she's tired. Like, she's talking about she is our queen, right? Beautiful queen, right? She says she's going to go back to a law firm or something because she's tired of fighting the fight by herself. I don't blame her. All these power that the Democrats got, and y'all ain't using none of these powers. Y'all just letting this man do whatever he want to do. Like Obama will rise up every once in a while and say something. But Obama's no longer in office. He's not holding a position in politics. He's the ex-president. It's only so much he could do, right? We got all these politicians that's Democrat that's just sitting around, letting him run amok. And that's exactly why she's quitting, because she's tired of fighting on her lonesome. Fighting a good fight for what? And nobody's fighting with her. Do you blame her? I like Jasmine Crockett too. I wish she would have won, but she lost that race. Let's listen.
To make sure there were no other threats. Did he have any explosives tied to him? Those types of things. When somebody is charging at you with a shotgun, you don't take any chances with that. So you want to make 100% sure that there was no other threats.
Speaking of other threats, this investigation is only a few hours old, and early on, even last night, we heard law enforcement say that they believe that he acted alone. How were they so early in the investigation able to reach that? I mean, maybe he was there at the Washington Hilton alone.
Because it's a
but
setup,
to say
allegedly.
that he acted alone, how'd they get there potentially?
How? All right, everybody, come on in. Tapify, Shareify.
Has a no tuition gate.
We're talking about the
Just fixed and
White House
affordable
pew. Everybody, come on in. We got a little commercialization going on. What are your thoughts on that shooting? You think it's legit?
Parents, if your
I
child
can't
plays
tell.
Roblox, listen up.
Right?
You could qualify
But at
for
the
up to
same time,
$300,000 or
I
more in
wouldn't put it
compensation.
past.
If your child was sent sexual images or material,
I
estimated
wouldn't put it
compensation
past
is
them setting anything up,
Well,
orchestrating
that's
anything.
a very good point.
I
Because
wouldn't
we all
put it
know
past
in
them.
the early stages of these crises, as investigators learn things, the facts kind of change a little bit, right? Because they haven't done their homework and they've interviewed people and they're able to.
And that's a good point, okay, that Shauna brought up. Did you talk about the DVD? No, not yet. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that next, right? Very horrific, very horrific. So, Shauna brought up a good point, saying that she believes, like everything's all alleged, that this was set up so that he could build the ballroom, because they shut the ballroom building down. He still got to go to Congress anytime he wants to do stuff. They say stuff, but he ignores it. But he still got to get the budget from somewhere from this. Okay? 100% staged, third time. You think so, Harlem? Harlem said it's staged. Analyzing the what? Yes. So, to get that ballroom to say, oh, look, it's unsafe for me to go out. I can't go out anymore. Where they want to pew me. This is why we need a ballroom inside the White House. That way we don't have to worry about intruders coming in and doing ABC. But you do got to worry, because humans can figure out how to get in anywhere. They can figure out how to get in anywhere. Let's listen.
What they're saying. So there has to be some sort of, at least initial level of optimism that was true. Again, like you said, Victor, there probably wasn't anybody with them. They were making sure of that. And then in their checks in the background initially, nothing probably came up. But I think as we go in the days ahead here, they're going to make sure that is the case, and they're going to talk to all of his associates. We know that he might have been a teacher. They'll go to any of those types of places, interview his coworkers, see who his associates are, and go and build that timeline from the time The shooting happened and worked all the way back several weeks beforehand to see how we got to the point last night.
Joining me now is CNN law enforcement analyst and former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow. Jonathan, thanks for joining me. Let's start here. Wolf, in his description of the security posture outside the Washington Hilton, said that he's been to this obviously many times. This was something at a level he'd never seen before. The check 3 or 4 blocks away, intensified security. What typically informs something like that? Is it simply coincidental that increased security happens the year that there is this shooting, or is it often the environment or a specific threat that would lead to the type of security that has not been seen at this dinner before?
Well, Victor, good morning. And to answer your question, it's the latter. It's the threat environment. So the Secret Service.
Harlem said it's a distraction to distract from the distraction and the distraction of the distraction. Yeah, there's so many things that we need to be distracted from. There's so many things. We got so many things. We got a whole laundry list of stuff that we need to be distracted from. His health, he don't even know where he's at. He don't know what he's talking about. We got the EpiPen files. We got the warification. We got, you name it, right? Did he have a man? Well, they said that he wrote his family. Now, he didn't mention by name Mr. T, but they said that he was talking to his family about some things. All right, so we're waiting for more to come out, right? A manifesto, right? Why do people write manifestos? To tell her the manifesto is a snitch.
Operates off of a threat-based methodology when they're building out any type of security plan for the President of the United States or any of their protectees at any site that they may be going to. So in this case, because the president, this was going to be the first time at this event as the sitting president, there was a lot of publicity, coming about this event, leading up to last night. That really creates a lot of threat vectors that can manifest themselves for this type of event. The Secret Service knows that, so they actually start building out this this security plan. And really, what Wolf was saying is concentric rings of protection that radiate out from the center of the stage where the president was sitting. So you have multiple layers of defense at that site that radiate out, not just at the surface level, but it's 360 degrees. There's airspace security that goes on. There are a lot of components of the security program that the public.
I'm gonna tell you, there's more than there's other important things that can be focused on over there besides building a ballroom. That's extra activities for me. That's hundreds of millions of dollars you spending, and then there's people that's still starving. Spending money on stupid stuff like that where people are still starving in America. You know what I'm saying? Why does this thing need a ballroom? Now the bunker, yeah, they should build him a bunker, because if he know there's a lot of people that he's not the favorite right now. So the bunker, okay, I can see it, right? Hey, Nana, but a ballroom, I don't know. I just need 10% of that ballroom money, right?
Just does
right,
not see.
Kalila?
Wolf did describe some of those elements that were out the outer perimeter, the inner perimeter, the magnetometers, all the way into the ballroom. So again, what we do know though is that security plan did work. It did prevent this threat from manifesting itself inside the ballroom and having tragic consequences.
Yeah, and as we know, having covered these shootings at schools and grocery stores and movie theaters, there are degrees of soft targets, hard targets. Any space around the president obviously is hardened. But when you have the Washington Hilton, 1,100 rooms, thousands literally of people in that ballroom, how far can the perimeter be extended? Right. So this checkpoint that he crashed through was a level above the ballroom. Short of checking every person's baggage TSA style coming into the hotel as a guest, how do you keep those weapons out of the building when the president potentially comes in?
Right.
Well, again, what we don't know is, some of those pre-attack elements. What was the staging that the attacker went through to prepare for this evening? And I think that's going to be a critical part of this investigation. Is when did he set up, the weapons and have that cache of weapons available to him to then go ahead and launch the attack at that main magnetometer site? Timing here is also critical. If that attack was 60 minutes earlier, this would have been a tragic event with numerous casualties and individuals hurt, because that is the only place where the public was aggregating before they fully got screened going into the event. So understanding these attack dynamics, which I actually will underscore that it actually speaks to the premeditation. If this attacker did have a room or access into the hotel prior to the security program being fully stood up outside, again, that speaks to this calculated planning that he had. But again, what we saw was, again, not relying on one element of the security plan, but that multiple overlapping layers of security actually did work last night.
This settlement check completely changed my life.
So everybody come on in. We're talking about the Pumin at the White House. We are going to go into DVD. There's a lot of updates with the DVD case. Okay, a lot of updates. I think Amar Wiggins went to the case and went inside. That case is in California, so I think he lives out there. Right? He said that he was the only YouTuber in the case. I wish I was out there.
My neck felt a little.
All right, everybody come on in. Everybody tapify. Everybody sheerify. We're going over this White House alleged Pumin. All right. How could security ignore guests and focus on rum? Right? Great grabs. That's a good question. Because the security mostly actually works for him.
Sources tell CNN that
and to keep the event safe, but mostly the security is there to protect, like, the politicians, you know what I'm saying? So he wasn't able, this dude Cole wasn't able to get right front and center in front of Trump. I'm willing to bet he would like to have, but he did not. And that's the thing. That's the problem with Trump, right? This is why he does a lot of the stuff that he's doing, because he knows he got all that security and can't nobody get next to him. It's a tough feat. But see, I'm from the hood, right? And coming from the hood, I was always told, when somebody want to get you, they gonna get you. One way or the other. Anybody can get got. All right? So, let's listen.
Allen, 31 years old, from California. The D.C. police chief said the suspect appeared to be a lone actor, was believed to be staying at the Washington Hilton, where this dinner was happening.
Right.
CNN's Brian Todd has more on the suspect and what we've learned this morning about the Secret Service agent who was shot during the attack.
We have new information just in from the U.S. Secret Service regarding the Secret Service officer who was shot in the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Anthony Guglielmi, the chief of communications for the Secret Service, telling CNN that the officer in question has been released from the hospital and, quote, the ballistic vest helped us avoid a potential tragedy. That is according to Anthony Guglielmi, chief of communications for the U.S. Secret Service. That officer released from the hospital. Anthony Guglielmi declining to name the officer or the hospital where he was treated, but the officer has been released, according to the Secret Service. Some other information we're getting, according to sources who spoke to CNN, the suspect is identified as Cole Thomas Allen, 31-year old. He said that the suspect was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives in this exchange. Chief Carroll saying that the suspect and law enforcement
a lot of
officers
stuff
did exchange gunfire, and the chief saying that they believe that the suspect may have been a guest at the Washington Hilton Hotel, the same hotel where this incident occurred. The chief saying that they secured a room there and are.
So do you think that he was a guest by coincidence, and it's like, oh, they're having a dinner here, wow, what a coinky thing? Or do you think he knew about the dinner and he set out all the way from California to go do damage at that dinner?
Trying to determine the contents of that room, so that will provide some critical information. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Pirro, the suspect faces 2 charges at least.
No, you don't think he
using a
planned
firearm during a crime of violence.
You think it's on
The
purpose,
other is
Great
assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. And some quick information on Republicans that CNN was able to sift through. He worked as a teacher and a developer. According to a LinkedIn profile matching his name and photograph, it described him as a part-time teacher at C2 Education. That is a test prep and tutoring company. CNN has reached out to C2.
So now, look, you a teacher. This is how you know, right, that everyday ordinary people, right, we don't know who anybody is anymore. Because here we got a person who's a teacher of our kids who's on a mission, dinner, and he definitely going to get some time. Now, what I feel like is strange is the rest of the Pum-Pums, you hear about the Pum-Puma, and then you don't hear about him no more, right? So sad. He been mad, wasted his whole life. He wasted his whole life. Because if you are going to jail for allegedly pulling out the Pum-Pum at a dinner that the man that starts with a T was at, you definitely ain't going to get no pardon. You definitely, the news talks too much about things that should be hushed. Yeah? You definitely ain't going to get no pardon. You ain't going to get no pardon. He definitely ruined his life. He's like a martyr. You martyred yourself.
Comment, we have not heard back from them.
Right?
C2, according to its records, did name Allen
that.
as the company's, quote, Teacher of the Month in December of 2024.
Teacher of the Month.
According to a LinkedIn profile, Allen graduated from the California Institute of Technology in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. He received a master's degree in computer science from Cal State University at Dominguez Hills last year in 2025. According to Federal Election Commission records, he donated $25 to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2024, and he described himself in his LinkedIn profile as a video game developer. He appears to have published at least one game, an indie game called Boredom, for sale on the Steam gaming platform. So a little bit more of the background.
And that is another indication that it was premeditated, because who walks around with a Pum-Pum, a small Pum-Pum, a big Pum-Pum, and a knifeification? It's nobody on any given day just walking around with that. Knowing that, and we live in the times where somebody could look over, let me see some ID, and then you're caught. So it's definitely, yes, mental illness. Look, Pam, mental illness is teaching our kids. Our kids is learning from people who got mental. Mental illness is anywhere. Mental illness, a person could be fine one day, right? And then boom, the next day, something wrong with their brain. Their mind is snapped. Right? So let's listen.
Alleged suspect, Cole Thomas Allen.
Let's bring it now. FBI Supervisor Jason Pack. Jason, hello to you. We've not heard anything is cooperating with searched a home to this suspect. We've got video of it from Torrance, California. Detail for us just the work that's happening to get the answer to the two big questions: why and the target that's happening right now.
Victor, good morning. And those are the two most important questions this morning. There's a lot of work going on in two locations and maybe more that we don't know about. Clearly, the FBI's evidence response team there at the hotel in Washington, and now we see the scene fan out into California there in Torrance, where FBI agents are likely executing a search warrant to get to that Y. They're looking for pieces of evidence in there, computers, phones, writings. Was there a manifesto like sometimes that we see? Or importantly, if there's not, that also says something. So there's a lot of work going into that effort to figure out what happened and why it happened. So that why piece we're seeing in Torrance there, and as the agents and the investigators in Washington piece together some of that trajectory, we don't know where all the shots have gone. So the FBI lab and the evidence response team will do some trajectory analysis and see where those rounds went and who may have fired them. And we are still unclear about that. But as they piece that together, it's important, Victor, because they'll take those pieces of information and match that up with some of those charges that the United States Attorney announced last night.
Yeah. You mentioned the potential for a manifesto. And listen, we've covered so many of these that often we find a manifesto online. Now, let's go through what we know about this suspect. This is someone who came to this event, according to law enforcement, was a guest at the hotel, had this long gun, had a pistol, a handgun, several knives, and the president was attending, but also literally the most well-known names and most influential people in media. Is this the type of suspect who would want the world to know why he's doing this, considering the event he picked?
I say yes. I say if he could talk, he would.
And just shows you the level of preparedness and premeditation. You just don't wake up and decide to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. As you know, you have to plan that a lot. So it required a lot of pre-planning, a lot of thinking, probably a lot of research. And the fact that he was able to travel from California, we think, all the way to Washington, hotel rooms there are not cheap either. So doing the retrace of the financials,
thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Who he may have spoken with, and all the people he may have interacted with.
Your
pulling the hotel video to be able to see where he's come and gone there while he was at the hotel, and how did he get the weapons in. So a lot of questions to answer. There are millions of journalists in the world in the same room, leaders, and that certainly says something about his motivation, I would think.
Can you explain something? Control room, let's put up the picture of Allen on the floor face down. Yes, this picture. I've covered many of these after which the shooter has been apprehended. And it appears he's obviously shirtless. I don't know what else he has on, but he's covered by a Mylar blanket. Is it protocol to take the suspect's clothes off? I've never seen this. Explain why we're seeing this, him in this condition.
Well, they probably were looking for explosives or something. So when you detain a person, you do what's called a high-risk search to make sure there are no weapons in the waistband, those types of things. And then you do a full search on that. So this appears to be some sort of full search. It does look like that blanket on top of it there. Make sure there were no other threats. Did he have any explosives tied to him, those types of things? When somebody is charging at you with a shotgun, you don't take any chances with that. So you want to make 100% sure that there's no other threats.
Speaking of other threats, this investigation is only a few hours old, and early on, even last month, how were they so early in the investigation able to reach that? I mean, maybe he was there at the Washington Hilton alone, but to say that he acted alone, how'd they get there potentially?
Never really wear it. Someone else will love them unvinted.
I think there is a possibility that he acted alone.
Easy. Once
Well,
it
it's
sells,
crazy,
the buyer
so.
covers shipping. And with zero selling fees, you keep
It's
every
possible.
dollar. Sell what you don't wear.
It's
Earn
not
cash
too
to
many
upgrade
people
your
that's
style.
gonna be
And
like,
millions of users and low-cost
okay, you know, I'll mess my life up for a moment. Right? Thank you, Cindy. Ain't too many people gonna decide to mess their whole life up trying to get the man that starts with a T. No. No, he's not worth your life to get messed up.
Well, that's a very good point, because we all know in these early stages of these crises, as investigators,
another miss.
Kind of change a little bit,
right?
Because they have
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you.
Interview people, and they are able to prove what they're saying. So there has to be some sort of at least initial level of optimism that was true. again, like you said, Victor, there probably wasn't anybody with them. They were making sure of that. And then in their checks in the background initially, nothing probably came up. But I think as we go in the days ahead here, they're going to make sure that that is the case, and they're going to talk to all of his associates. We know that he might have been a teacher. They'll go to any of those types of places, interview his coworkers, see who his associates are, and go and build that timeline from the time the shooting happened and work all the way back several weeks beforehand to see how we got to the point last night.
Joining me now is CNN law enforcement analyst and former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow. Jonathan, thanks for joining me. Let's start here. Wolf, in his description of the security posture outside the Washington Hilton, said that he's been to this obviously many times. This was something at a level he'd never seen before. The check 3 or 4 blocks away, intensified security. What typically informs something like that? Is it simply coincidental that increased security happens the year that there is this shooting, or is it often the environment or a specific threat that would lead to the type of security that has not been seen at this dinner before?
Well, Victor, good morning. And to answer your question, it's the latter. It's the threat environment. So the Secret Service operates off of a threat-based methodology when they're building out any type of security plan for the President of the United States or any of their protectees at any site that they may be going to. So in this case, because the president, this was going to be the first time at this event as the sitting president, there was a lot of publicity coming about this event leading up to last night.
I hope you heal up, Cindy.
That really creates a lot of threat vectors.
Cindy, I hope you heal up, and I hope your knee is as good as new. All right? I hope you heal up quick, Cindy.
That can manifest themselves for this type of event. The Secret Service knows that. So they actually start building out this security plan. And really what Wolf was saying is concentric rings of protection that radiate out from the center of the stage where the president was sitting. So you have multiple layers of defense at that site that radiate out, not just at the surface level, but it's 360 degrees. There's airspace security that goes on. There are a lot of components of the security program that the public just does not see. Mm-hmm. Wolf did describe some of those elements that were out the outer perimeter, the inner perimeter, the magnetometers, all the way into the ballroom. So again, what we do know though is that security plan did work. It did prevent this threat from manifesting itself inside the ballroom and having tragic consequences.
Yeah, and as we know, having covered these shootings at schools and grocery stores and movie theaters, there are degrees of soft targets, hard targets. Any space around the president obviously is hardened. But when you have the Washington Hilton, 1,100 rooms, thousands literally of people in that ballroom, how far can the perimeter be extended, right? So this checkpoint that he crashed through was a level above the ballroom. Checking every person's baggage TSA style coming into the hotel as a guest. How do you keep those weapons out of the building when the president potentially
God bless
comes
you,
in?
Pam.
Well, again, what we don't know is some of those pre-attack elements. What was the staging that the attacker went through to prepare for this evening? And I think that's going to be a critical part of this investigation.
Yes, Cindy.
Is when did he set up Ashton's gym to then go ahead the attack at that main magnetometer site? Timing here is also critical. If that attack was 60 minutes earlier, this would have been individuals hurt, because that is the only place where the public was aggregating before they fully got screened going into the event. So understanding these attack dynamics, which I actually will underscore that it actually speaks to the premeditation. If this attack program being fully stood up outside, again, that speaks to this calculated planning that he had. But again, what we saw was, again, not relying on one element of the security plan, but that multiple overlapping layers of security actually did work last night.
Okay, so we're not going to stay on this too long.
Good morning, everyone.
Because,
Thank you all for
you know, all these people doing whatever, coming up in here near him. I agree with most of y'all. This could be a setup. We don't know. We living in the times where anything is possible with this man that starts with a T. Anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. But the only reason why I said that the man that starts with the T, he's probably not thinking of these things per se. It might be the people around him thinking of these things. It's because, you know, he ain't really wrapped up tight like he used to be, right? Let's go to this, and then we're going to go to DVD. Okay, we're going to go to, it's a lot to cover, right? But I want to play a little bit of this because his family,
I have completely abandoned ChatGPT. It just
talks
keeps
about
failing
his
me
health
time
decline.
after time after time, and I can't stand it. I now only use.
So let's listen.
And then return today in a 12-hour period. He's going to fly there and fly back.
Okay, let's listen. Let's listen to this. Okay.
That the press like rush to like fact check. Oh my God, that's an AI image of Donald Trump. That's he didn't put his face planted onto the table. Okay, yes, there was someone doing a parody image of Donald Trump. We get that. But can we at least acknowledge the fact that Donald Trump is cognitively and physically collapsing before our eyes, that he constantly falls?
So now we're talking about how Donald Trump is seen visibly falling asleep at every turn, every meeting, right? And his family is popping up saying that he's mirroring what his father went through when his father was going through dementia. These are the same signs that his family's seeing, Mary Trump or whatever. And then they said after these signs occurred, he deteriorated really quickly, the father. So, you know, it's hereditary.
Asleep during press conferences, and it's like a real horrific thing to watch. I mean, for all of the attention that the press gave to former President Biden just because he was old, even though he was with it, he was just old. I mean, Donald Trump quite literally collapsing before our eyes, and the attack is on, oh, this person did an AI image of Donald Trump licking the table. We know Donald Trump didn't lick the table, okay? But dude was falling asleep in the Oval Office for all to see. I just want to remind everybody about his physical and cognitive collapse in the past 12 to 24 hours before rushing out of Washington, D.C. That's not suspicious at all. So he's going to rush out of Washington, D.C., go to Florida, and then return today in a 12-hour period. He's going to fly there and fly back. I just call a lot. I'm going to call that out and say that's highly suspicious right there. And by the way, when is his physical? Right? His annual physical is supposed to take place April 2026. When's that going to take place? His last annual physical was April 2025. Then in October of 2025, they said it was his physical. But then it was like, well, he heard the annual physical. Then, oh, it's a semi-annual physical. They're lying about everything. So I'm going to choose to believe my eyes when I see him cognitively and physically collapse before my eyes. Like when I saw him at the press conference saying that Greece has been very supportive, that Greece is a terrific guy. When I see that Donald Trump believes that Greece is a human.
So he was talking about Greece, right? So he was talking about Greece, you know, Greece is a place, right? So this dude talking about Greece like Greece is a person. Now you know your mind is going. You know your mind is going. You know what I'm saying? If I'm talking like I'm saying, yeah, you know, China is a cool person and stuff. China is cool. China came around, you know, we had fun. We ate some shrimp fried rice. You know, in China, like I'm talking about China, like he's talking about Greece, like Greece is a person.
Being who is a terrific human being. I'm going to say red flag, red flag. Here, play this clip.
Do you have any response?
No, it's really nice. I mean, Greece has been very supportive, actually. Greece has been terrific. He's a terrific guy because he understands the importance of it. You know,
Greece is a terrific guy. Now listen to that one sentence. Greece is a terrific guy. Like to Greece is a person.
Well, it goes up a little bit. I hate it. Yeah, I was the one that had it down to $60.
Okay, and you may be saying, well, Donald Trump doesn't believe that Greece is a guy, even though Donald Trump said Greece is a terrific guy. He didn't mean that. Okay, we'll make excuses for him, being sarcastic, of course. What about at the press conference when Donald Trump said that Spirit Airlines, which the United States is about to seize and take over out of bankruptcy, was about to merge with People
Spirit is going to bankruptcy with all our fighting. The best fights are on Spirit, right? The Spirit planes is ghetto. They have all the fights there. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So they going bankrupt? What? He said Puerto Rico is in Mexico. He did.
Express. People Express was an airline that ceased operation in 1987. So in this clip I'm about to show you, Donald Trump says that Obama, who left office in 2017, blocked a merger between People Express, which went out of business in 1987, and Spirit Airlines in 2024.
That's like
so. Here, play this clip right here.
Is that going to buy a state in Spirit Airlines?
So Spirit is an airline that's had some trouble. They were going to merge with People Express, or one of them, a number of years ago, and Barack Hussein Obama decided it was a bad idea. Had that worked out? It's bad for both of them. That would have been a natural merger. Not United and American, but Spirit and the other.
And so with all of that going on, why don't we listen to what Donald Trump's family members say? Here's what Mary Trump, Donald Trump's niece, just said on a recent podcast. Play this clip.
My grandfather.
If the clock keeps glitching, y'all, I think there is an update. So check your updates. The updates are good. It keeps the app running smoothly. So make sure you check your updates, okay?
Was about Donald's age, maybe a little younger, maybe my grandpa.
Okay, now this is Mary Trump. This is Mary Trump talking, his niece. Okay, the niece can't stand his doggone guttifications. All right, now listen to what she's saying. So she watched the father. So let's listen.
Not United and American, but Spirit and the other.
And so with all of that going on, why don't we listen to what Donald Trump's family members say? Here's what Mary Trump, Donald Trump's niece, just said on a recent podcast. Play this clip.
My grandfather was about Donald's age, maybe a little younger. Maybe my grandfather was in his mid-70s when he started to exhibit signs of dementia, short-term memory loss, impulse control issues, etc. And it then sort of worsened pretty suddenly in his early to mid-80s. This was a man who, at his height, was a very intelligent person. He was very sharp. And suddenly, he often looked as if he weren't oriented to time and space. And it's alarming how often I see my grandfather and Donald these days. He also often doesn't seem to know exactly where he is or why he's there or with whom. And of course, Donald has never had particularly good impulse control, but especially at the beginning of this year, we see that he is almost incapable of reining in his temper or keeping himself from saying what in any instant is exactly the wrong thing for him to say or post on social media. Like, for example, threatening genocide.
Yeah, so that brings me to what the press has been saying. And look, I think it's a good thing when the press fact checks certain things. But here you have a member of the press showing this, it's a video from Paulie Tix. And what the press is pointing out is this is not a photo and it isn't on the front page of every single newspaper in America because it's not real. The image has been taken from an AI manipulated satirical video made by politics. And do we have the video from politics? First, let me show you the politics video, because we all know that it's a satirical video from politics. So first, let me show you the video by politics, where this one goes, no, it's a meme. He fell asleep during a live event. Play this one from politics. Play this clip.
My brother, he's violent, unafraid.
All right, everybody clear, everybody. We're talking a little bit more about Trump, then we're going to move on to the DVD. All right, so everybody come on in.
Stop buying ordinary princess dresses. This princess dress with an LED remote control button.
How's everybody doing today? Tapify, Sharify. Join the Discord. Join the Super Clans if you can. And if you're on the clock, on the YouTube, the Tuesday, make sure you give me a thumbs up. So we're trying to get past the commercials.
And long gloves are all included. Opening a box.
We're trying to get past the commercials.
Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu should have never started this war in Iran, and they must.
We got commercials about the war.
That work continues with other countries. And third, we will continue our work with our partners in Congress to codify the principles that underpin these most favored nation deals, so that these savings for American families and this innovation that is unleashed at the same time persists for decades.
All right, now let me show you the real one, okay? Here's Donald. This is real. This is not manipulated. This is not AI. This is really Donald Trump during the press conference. Trump completely passed out, reawakens, then passes out again during the press conference in the Oval Office.
So they have, I know y'all seen the videos of Trump like full nodding out. I mean, let's be for real, okay? Let's take an average almost 80-year-old man or woman or man, right? Is he flying all over the place, back and forth, making speeches, making decisions, conducting war affairs? What 80-year-old do you know that's doing all of this? Now, it might be some that got their mind sharp, right? You being dragged all over the place. He's probably not getting that much sleep. He probably got to get up early in the morning. So I could kind of see why he's falling asleep all over the place. He's tired. He is tired. He is tired. They need to let that man go somewhere and sit down and rest and sip on some lemonade and look out the window and rock back and forth. That's what he needs to be doing at this point. Mitch McConnell is another man who was displaying signs of, oh, yeah, he was displaying signs when he was in there. I seen it when he was in there. You know what I'm saying? I seen it when he was in there. And then that vice president, what's his name, Vance? He just be looking crazy all the time. Every time him and Trump is standing next to each other, Vance is looking at him like this. He always looking like, I don't want to be here. He got the I don't want to be here look on his face all the time.
Play this clip.
We continue our work on negotiating international trade agreements. 59 days after we stood in this office, President Trump, standing with Albert Bourla from Pfizer, announced the first of the 17 MFN deals. Together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Letnick's leadership and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer, we negotiated a landmark agreement with the government of the United Kingdom, in which they agreed to increase significantly the amount that they spend on branded pharmaceuticals for the first time in 26 years. That work continues with other countries.
So he's sleeping all through this speech, y'all.
We will continue our work with our partners in Congress to codify the principles that underpin these most favored nation deals, so that these are innovation that is unleashed at the same time persists for decades to come.
And I don't know how else you can come to any other conclusion than having the opinion that I have. And my opinion is Trump's dementia.
Then another one. And she was ready to go. She walked back to the corner. She said, I've never been hit like that.
Who said that?
Think about it too.
He always gives us a story that we never asked for. And it's just some far out story that don't got nothing to do with nothing, right?
You'll never see me sleeping in front of cameras. Well, here's Trump in 2026. Play this clip.
He has one ability I don't have. Yeah. He sleeps. He has an ability to fall asleep while on camera. He can lie down on one of those things, and in minutes, he's stone cold out.
How does he do
and he's
it?
got cameras because he's the president, so they have cameras on him. Yeah. And then they show him sleeping on the beach. Yeah. You'll never see me sleeping in front of camera.
By the way, it's also a weird thing to say.
So you heard what he said, right? So he's talking about Biden sleeping on the beach. Okay. I've went to the beach a couple of times and fell asleep in the sun. How about you? The beach is somewhere where what you laughing at? Hey, I can't see your name. My eyes is blurry. I think it says Ace. What's up, Ars? What's up, Ars? You know, the beach is, so he's talking about Biden because he called him Sleepy Joe. He said he'll never be caught sleeping in front of the cameras. Oh no, he's sleeping on the beach, but cameras were there. Sir, are you on the beach? You're supposed to be sleeping under the sun. I fell asleep on the beach plenty of times. I fell asleep, went to Miami, came from the club, went on the beach, got out blankets and went to sleep. Plenty of times. So what are you talking about? You falling asleep in the middle of a meeting, of important meeting. He talking about important stuff from pharmaceuticals and deals that they're getting that you're supposed to be listening to and saying, oh, that's great. And you sitting there dribbling. Let's listen.
Hey, you'll never see me sleeping in front of cameras. Like they made up that former President Biden would always fall asleep in front of cameras, like, which is not actually what happened. And Donald Trump falls asleep all of the time in front of cameras. Like, that's his thing. Passes out, falls asleep, and then he denies it. Then his team goes, oh, that wasn't what he does. He's really awake. He's just resting his eyes, and he takes it all in because he's so smart. That's what he does. Let me show you what Dr. John Gardner, clinical psychologist who you've seen before on the Midas Touch Network. Here's what he had to say with the recount. Play this clip.
It's not just that he has cognitive decline. He's a rock rolling downhill. I've said for years, look at Donald Trump today, because that's the best Donald Trump you're ever going to see. The nature of his organic cognitive decline, which I believe is probably...
Do you see what he said? He said, and everything's all legend in Miss Knockout's Live, he said, look at him today. That's the best you're ever going to see him. And then he's true. But it's true because every year, like when you hear him talk, you go like, now you're like, what? What's going on?
Temporal dementia is that it never gets better and it never stays the same. It only gets worse. The rate of deterioration begins to accelerate. At this point, the decline is so rapid that he's not the same man he was 4 weeks ago. The frontal lobe is really what distinguishes us from animals. It's the thing that inhibits us from just acting on stray impulses. But the main thing people need to understand, if you think of that frontal lobe as deteriorating, right? And that's the brake, and that's the judgment, right? The two things you would need in a president of the United States who's making decisions about war are judgment and restraint. And those are the two things that he is literally, we're almost down to zero in the tank. These are the patients in the nursing home who they dose with high-dose antipsychotics because they're so violent and out of control. And he's not just a patient in a nursing home. He's got the nuclear codes. You know, the way he's talked about the war in Iran, half the time he's incomprehensible. And half the time he's internally inconsistent. There's no rhyme or reason to it. He's become more erratic. He's become more disinhibited. He is a malignant narcissist on a good day, right? Before he had organic cognitive decline, which means he is fundamentally an evil person. His frontal lobes are deteriorating. He's losing judgment. He's losing what little impulse control he had. He's losing his hold on reality. What malignant narcissists like to do is to feel powerful by destroying and dominating and hurting.
I agree with that. Like New York is excited that we got a young mayor, you know what I'm saying, who's able to think of stuff, innovative stuff with the times. I don't know why they want these presidents to be older than the dust, like Jurassic Park, right? And expect them to be flying all over the place, making all these speeches, up work, in the office, work. You're working. You working when you in that White House, right? They should put an age limit. What do y'all think the age limit should be for a president? What do you think that the age limit should be, maximum and minimum, for a president? Drop it in the comments. Thank you, Tiffany. And drop it in the YouTube comments after you watch this video. What do you think the limit and age? Thank you so much, Tiffany, for the presidency should be. I gotta think about it. Well, I would say they should cap it off at 60, maybe 65. They should cap it off at 65, maybe even 70, because it's some competent 70-year-olds, right? Ooh, DVD is doing a concert in New York today. I want to go so bad. The tickets are $50 though, so I don't know. But DDG is in New York doing his Blame the Chat show. You know, he's testing it out, man. So anyway, sidebar. That's a sidebar. So let's listen to a little more. Then we're going to go into DVD, and we're going to go into the autopsy is done. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. The autopsy is done. All right. And we'll be back here every morning next week. Had a few things to do these last couple of days, but don't worry, I'm back. All right. So let's finish listening.
Other people. They're sexual sadists who feel better by causing harm to other people. He can use the U.S. military to blow up whoever he wants, and that gives him gratification.
Prime, right?
You know, he said to Jonathan Swan that the military is looking forward to its next conquest. You know, this is fun for him.
Recreation,
I agree. Becoming addicted to it in the international military arena, saying, "Oh, we'll take Cuba next." What people need to understand is this person is insane. The problem is yes, because he's always been a sadist, he's always been a liar, he's always been a mean person, right? He's always tried to make everyone feel bad and make himself feel powerful at their expense, that it seems like it's just more Trump. Well, in a sense it is, because what happens when people get dementia is whatever personality disorder they have becomes 10 times worse. Wow. And there's no one to advise him, no one to restrain him.
So they said when you get dementia, right, whatever your personality is, it becomes 10 times worse, like worse magnified. So if you are a narcissist, a heavy-duty narcissist, and then let's just say you develop dementia, well, guess what? The people around you better run for cover. True, my brother has it. Your brother has it, see? They need to give him a psych test. A psych test. But you know, the other thing is, anytime he gets these tests, physical, because the president, they're supposed to have a physical every year. They're supposed to have these tests every year. But what he does is he lies about everybody. He has everybody lie about everything. Oh, I aced that test. Oh, the test, I was the best at it. Oh, I scored so high on that test. The doctor hang up his. They lie and lie and lie and never stop lying. Like this guy said, the only way that we're gonna know that something's wrong with that man that starts with a T is when he falls out on the ground. That's when we're gonna know, because they lie so much and they cover it up instead of letting that man rest, letting that other thing take over. Who probably for me, the other man don't know his ass from his shoulders. We haven't heard him say nothing. We haven't heard him put up any kind of reforms, projects, plans, nothing. No jelly, nothing. No jam, nothing. We haven't heard JD Vance. I call him VD. I call him VD Vance. We haven't heard VD Vance say nothing too much. The only thing we seen him do is when the president comes around, he stares at him like this, with his mouth open, because he can't believe he's there himself. Okay? VD Vance, cockeyed. We got all the characters. We should make a cartoon show. Okay, he said he has a plan, and the plan was a plan. Charlene said he got a plan, and the plan was the plan, right? The plan was there. See, the plan. Okay, we got a master plan. What's the plan? The plan is the plan. VD sounds like a disease. Okay. So, let's see. Are we finished with this? Let's see.
Going to contradict him, and it's going to get worse. This is actually what's really quite so frightening. Worse. I see us hurtling towards the apocalypse, and I don't see anything getting in the way. I don't see any friction, even slowing us down.
And that's right. I mean, look at, again, Donald Trump's dementia out of control here. Play this clip.
Will ever make a difference for somebody like Travis. Regeneron is a great example of both the difficulty of the challenge, but also of the potential reward. We spent 25 years and billions of dollars.
Or take a look at what Donald Trump's former Trump White House attorney Ty Cobb had to say. This is Donald Trump's former White House attorney here. Play this clip.
No, I think there's been a significant decline. You know, he's always been driven by narcissism, but I think the dementia and the cognitive decline are right? Palpable, as do many experts, including many physicians.
Or what about Professor Jeffrey Sachs? Here's what he had to say about Donald Trump's dementia, or his view of Donald Trump's dementia. Play this clip.
Usually we have a political issue. Israel and the United States together have created a disaster in the Middle East. Israel has created a genocide. Israel and the United States together have created this war of whim in Iran that has killed thousands, but has already begun to devastate the entire world. But we also have clearly a clinical condition. We have an individual mental incapacity. The psychiatrists and psychologists that look at this call it the dark triad, meaning that the man is narcissistic, Machiavellian, in other words, completely untrustworthy in every way, and psychopathic, meaning that killing other people does not have any concern for either of these people. So these are both dark triad personalities. Many people are saying, Piers, that Trump is also showing symptoms of frontotemporal dementia as well. In other words, that this personality has always been there, but
that's the same thing that they said that Wendy Williams had, right? But we heard what he said. When you have frontal dementia, it doesn't get better. It always gets worse. And Wendy Williams got better. So that's what she says, that she didn't have that. They just made that up to take her money. Those people with the bank that wanted to control her money, they just made that up, that she had that. Because she definitely got better. But they said this one, you know, Mr. T, is not going to get any better. You know, they even gave him a nickname. They're calling him Donnie Dementia now.
Loss of impulse control has taken over, perhaps because of dementia added to this. We have a very serious issue. There's never been a president in this incapacity. It's very dangerous, but I just want to emphasize, on top of this is a collapse of our governmental processes. There are no consultations with Congress. Congress, for all intents and purposes, doesn't exist. The National Security Council, for all intents and purposes, does not exist. The intelligence agencies, for all intents and purposes, do not exist. They advised against this. So we have a one-man rule, and the one man happens to be crazy.
And finally, here's what Donald Trump's nephew, Fred Trump III, had to say. Nephew. Similar to what Mary Trump said. Here, play this clip.
I know what I saw in my grandfather. I know what I saw in Donald's older sister, my Aunt Marianne, who in the end, thank you for saying, I am not a doctor. I don't pretend to. I know the warning signs from both of my grandfathers, what it is. Donald's cousin, John Walters, had dementia. It runs in the family. I'm not happy about it because guess what? I worry about it myself. You know, where's my glasses? Oh, on the top of my head. No, I don't know. That may be half-Irish, but
right.
It runs.
Y'all stop scrolling and moving on through here. Like, I know y'all moving through here saying, oh, she's not a power beggar. Let's go find some. Now we in here talking about stuff. All right. So don't just go. Stop scrolling. Like they say in the post. Stop scrolling and come on in. Tapify, Shareify. Make sure you follow me. All these people marching through here. Make sure you follow Miss Knockout because we be in here talking about Shiznick. Okay. So right now we're talking about the man who starts with a T, aka Donnie Dementia, is that nickname they gave him. Everything's all alleged. All right. So this is his nephew talking about his grandfather and how he's seen the same thing in his grandfather. Let's listen.
In the family. He looks older, and I get it. I mean, I'm not saying anybody who is in that office looks different than when they come out. But the things he's spewing and the craziness, and he just can't stick to a message.
There you have it, folks. So just tell me what you think here. I really want to hear from you. I want to hear your opinion.
And that's the end of it. So I just wanted to put that out there that, now we got to worry about, we being run. The United States, they shun older people. When you get 30, they start calling you auntie, uncle, OG. Oh, you are old head, all of that. But look who we got running the country. An old head, right? Who they won't sit down because now he's in control. Once he got in that office, he got the control. It's hard to get rid of that dude. So let's move on to D4D. Okay, these two little Twitch guys that are like, they was calling them Beavis and Butthead. What's his name? Drewsy something. These little boys, they're so cute. They're getting real popular and stuff. And they was sitting there talking. They said, "Oh, they calling us Beavis and Butthead." And they went and looked it up. They said, "They calling us this, gang. They calling us this." They got mad when they see what Beavis and Butthead is a classic cartoon, right? So let's get into D4D. Why did you spell your name like that, sir? Why did you spell your name like that? Why? You know what I'm saying? Everybody got problems like pronouncing that name. All right, so let's get into D4D. They came up with the autopsy. Tapify, everybody Shareify. Come on in. All right. This is Miss Knockout, the Miss Knockout show. All right. I like Beavis and Butthead too. But the YNs didn't know what it was. And when they looked it up, they didn't like it because of the way they look. Like they like this, and but they look like Beavis and Butthead, the two little young guys, right? So, thank you, Recreation. Let's talk about D4D now and do some updates on that. And we got a couple of updates on Ashley also. So let's see if we can get through all of this today. I know my videos are kind of long. Just watch them. I'm going to try to break up and take clips of it, of different parts, and upload it again. Okay, I'm going to try. All right. Did everybody see? Yes. We did see Chris Sean's fight. I did watch it. It was a pay-per-view. So I watched it after the fact. I don't want to put it on here because every time I show boxingification, the clock restricts me because, they're punching each other. But I feel like Krishan Rock did her thing. Krishan did her thing. She found her niche, which is boxing. I'm happy for her. Like Krishan Rock seems like she's fighting within herself to get on the right path to serve her life purpose, right? But she was in the circus, as we call it, that's still going with Blueface. Now he got another girl pregnant, right? And now he got it. His daughter. They named her Pink Face. She talking crazy, calling her, "Hey, Kim, what's up?" The girl called him. They in the car, right? So Pink Face is in the back, right? And she goes, "How?" And she's talking to him very matter of factly, like head back, feet up on the doggone door, right? Like she's just chilling. And she goes, "Hey, Kim, thank you so much, Kim." She goes, "How many kids you got?" And he goes, "Oh, I got you. I got your brother." She said, "You got any more kids? You got any more kids?" And then she goes, "Too many kids, you dummy." So she called her father a dummy and said he got too many kids. Right? And then another time he's talking to her, saying, she said, "Shut the F up, B." She called her father a B, a bitch. Like her mouth is like no filter right now. No filter right now. But Krishan got away from the circus. She said there's a lot of discipline. And she said you got to hang out with other boxers. Okay, can't stay long. It's all good, Kim. Thank you so much for coming through. Krishan got a strong hit, though. She's just green, but she did good. She says, "What does green mean? What does being green mean?" Yeah, my daughter was the same. I dropped her. Oh, you dropped her? Yeah. So the pink face got a mouth on her. And she ain't got one of those little kids. "Ooh, it's cute, fresh." No, she got one of a bitch. She calling them bitch. She telling them shut the F up. She falling out in the store. He buying her shoes. She throwing the shoes. "I don't want that. I want the pink ones." Then she throw the shoes. "I want the white ones." It's new. Oh, new to something. Okay, got you. So pink face is going to be something. Now, maybe this is a phase. I don't know. But I'm glad that Krishan is trying to displace herself away from baddies. She's saying now Baddie's got to check. That's why she went to the reunion and sat there like she didn't want to be there, because she didn't want to be there. And then I see they got Summer today. Summer's coming back. So they must have gave Summer an offer she couldn't refuse because Lex tore that behind her. What? Lex beat her so bad. She beat her so bad. I'm surprised she's still walking, talking, and breathing. She really that girl Lex, the ball player, she could really go. Okay, let me holler at her. She wants to be doing that, right? So Summer, they probably paid her the right price. Everybody got their price, right? Summer said she wasn't going to the reunion, but they said, "How's 100,000?" Nah, I don't. How's 200? I don't. 300. Okay, what time I got to be there? Everybody got their price. Selling their souls out. Selling their souls to get their wigs ripped off so they could look like Luther Vandross. Selling their souls. All right? Everybody come on in. Everybody tapify. Everybody shareify. You can now watch my live back in entirety on my U to the Tubesy, Face to the Booksies, I to the, not I to the Jeezys, Twitchy, and Xy. You can go on the platform of your choice and watch my video back in entirety if you missed anything. Now we're talking about D4D. All right? So let's get into, they got this autopsy. All right? And let's get into this. So the autopsy is very horrific. Very horrific. So now we all had thoughts of what this guy might have did, what he didn't do, what he might have did, but it's all coming out.
I just got paid $62,000 for my car accident.
Now I wish I could get to that courtroom. The court is in Cali.
Never heard of
I wish I could get out there at least for a couple of hearings, but we'll see.
Legal help platforms.
We'll see. Maybe you might help get me there.
How is an eye missing? Is that from decomposition?
Well, it's not really missing as much as it's all gone away.
Okay, let's go back.
I believe there was mention also in.
Okay, so let's get into the autopsy. Before we get into the autopsy, I'm going to do a backstory on who D4VD is. Okay, I just call him David. He just spelled it a different way because it's probably another artist named David. All right, so D4VD, otherwise known as David, was finally arrested after a long, lengthy investigation, which people thought would never end, that they would never say anything, but they were taking their time, putting all the dots on the I's and then crossing their T's. All right. So this is the dark, haunting story about a singer who I didn't know before this case. Did anybody know? Anybody who in here was following David before this case unfolded? Who was watching his music? I didn't. He just didn't exist before this unfortunate situation came up. Right? His music, when I did discover him, is really dark. He's bringing caskets in as props for his show, and anybody that's bringing a casket in, like if I go, like say I jump up and I go to the DDG show today, right? And I'm going in the door, and DDG's people is bringing in a casket. Well, I guess what? I'm going to turn around and go home because I'm going to say to myself, I don't think this is the show I should be at. Now, DDG would never do that because DDG is all about having fun and good music, right? So I didn't know he existed. Me neither. You don't know about none of these singers, rappers, even sometimes actors until they pum somebody, or they're unalive themselves, or they do something crazy, or they go into jail. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know them, right? So D4VD, which I'm gonna call David because I'm tired of saying the fours and the D's and what. We're just gonna call him David. All right. He was a singer, and all of a sudden we sitting here minding our business, and they discovered this Tesla with this young girl's body in it. Her name is Celeste Rivas, right? Who was described as a runaway. But my thing is, how could you be a runaway where your parents let you date somebody? Are you then still a runaway? I say no. A runaway is you ran away, I don't know where you at. Or you ran away and maybe you came back. A runaway to me is not, she ran away, but we let her date David. That's not a runaway. That's you being a parent, like the R. Kelly parents, letting your kid go with a celebrity because they're a celebrity. Just like R. Kelly's parents did. Okay? No, they knew he had money. Right. They knew he was a singer. They knew he had money. Stop calling this girl a runaway. You sold your child up the river for the highest bidder because he had money to be around. And he don't even look like he was giving her money like that. She was so young. 13, 14, 15, you're not out there finessing these guys out of money. Now, if she was in her 20s, her early 30s, okay, then, I could believe that she had a mastermind plan to get around these people with money and siphon the money out of them, because a lot of women do that. But she was so young, I think she was just excited just to be around them. They all knew. That's right. They all knew. Just like R. Kelly's parents knew. It reminds me a lot of that. Because I've seen several reports that said that they knew that their kid was dating David. Right? The teacher even knew that she was dating David and explained it to the class. You're right about that. So we watched a clip of Celeste's teacher explaining to his class where Celeste is at. Celeste ran off with a guy named David, who's a singer. Since the Diddy case and Epstein, I've tried to get more understanding of what goes on. Yeah, it's hard to get an understanding and make reason or rhyme to anything that goes on, Looney Bell, because we're living in a time where the weirdos are in domination. The weirdos, people with mental deficiencies, people running the country with the declining health, forgetting where they at, falling asleep, talking all crazy about something that don't got to do with nothing. We living in an uncertain time, right? Money talks and BS always walks, most of the time. And the reason why I'm saying most of the time now is because the money didn't really help Diddy. As much as people said, oh, he's going to get out of it, he got money. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He's still in jail. He filing for appeals. He filing to let me go. He's saying let me go. He's still in there. So that didn't work. And he had plenty of money. He had the best attorneys. So we can apply that statement to most of the time. Now we're living in such an uncertain time that if I was rich, I would be scared because your money might not help you. Your money might not help you. Right? Now, David was seeing this young girl. She was 13, 14, didn't even get to turn 15 barely. Right? She made her way out to California from wherever she was at. She started staying with him. They had her staying down in another apartment downtown when they was in another place. So people won't say that she's living with him. All right? New money can destroy you. Yeah, and these new minds is like, think about it. Think about it, y'all. The 80s is not too long ago, right? 80s, 90s, 2000s. A lot of these C babies, and know what I mean when I say C babies, C to the RACK babies, they all grown now. They all got all the kids. We're in the influx of C babies running around. That's why a lot of people were cray-cray, because of the C baby era. C babies grow up to be C adults with a little bit of the C still in their brain, in the membrane. Thank you for the sharification. Everybody tapify, everybody sharify, and everybody blessify Miss Knockout so she won't be brokified. I was going for a couple of days because I got booked on something and I was kind of busy, but I'm back and we'll be back every day next week. We will be back. I thought that was 30 something. That was 30 something? Well, the C era was in the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. So you do the math. You do the math. Okay? Each era has how many years in it? You do the math, y'all. All right. So, they found Celeste Rivas in the trunk of a car that was registered back to the singer David. And since then, they've been investigating, trying to figure out what happened to this young girl. Right? So he was a rising pop indie star with millions of Gen Z fans. His real name was David Anthony Burke. Right? He had a Tesla tow, and they said that many people had access to this Tesla, to an impound lot inside the front of the trunk. The decomposed and dismembered remains of a 14-year-old girl just short of her birthday. Why is all this stuff happening around people's birthday? Wow. Was stuffed into cadaver bags, and 7 months later, he now is arrested in a dramatic Hollywood Hills raidification, and he's charged with first-degree unalivement, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, and mutilating her body. Now, we did not know all of this before. We did not know why she was in the trunk. We just got the picture that she was the runaway. She got around a star. She probably was all infatuated and in awe. And when people get starstruck, they try to get around that star as much as they can. But now we're learning a little bit around the motive, and which will come out in greater detail, but it is coming out that he was having sexuals with this young child, right? People caught wind of him having S with this child. The authorities got wind that he was having S with this child, and he was being investigated. And guess who was the number one witness? Celeste. Celeste was the number one witness in him being investigated in her own sexual molestation allegations, right? Misuse of the internet has contributed to a lot of problems. I've watched it happen. Yep. It's a lot of misuse in the internet. A lot. Okay. If he goes in general population, he's a goner. Yep. If he goes in general population, they don't like it when you mess with the kids, AB. They don't like it when they messing with the kids. You're right about that. Right? And so we're learning a little bit and tipping the iceberg of sort of what the mold, because everybody's like, why he did that to that girl and put her in the trunk or whatever, or whoever did it, because we didn't know at first. Well, there's an investigation going on in which she is the witness of him messing around and sticking his beefcake in a little child. And she was the star witness. So now let's go with one of my theories. So my theory is, because this investigation was going on, and she looked like she's a little firecracker, because I seen the video. They showed a video with her arguing with the neighbors. So she ain't got she ain't got a mouth like the Pope. She ain't got a mouth like the Pope, right? She got the clap back, spicy, ooh, ah, ooh mouth. And I'm willing to bet that she was walking around there like, all right, I'm a towel. Keep it up. I'm a towel. Give me what? I'm a towel. She was walking around in I'm a towel mode. All right. I'm going to tell him what you did. And I believe that she probably was holding it over his head. She spilled the beans and he got rid of her. Right. So he probably that was held over his head. Seeing it, I agree with you, right? It's probably held over his head. She's a little firecracker with a little mouth that got no filter. Everything's all alleged. That's right, Abby. And she probably was walking around telling what? What? That's why I'm going to tell him what you was doing to me. She probably was vocal about throwing him under the bus every time she didn't get away. I'm willing to bet. Right? So, Celeste was a 14-year-old, 7th grader girl from Lake Elsinore, California, and she was last seen alive around April 23rd, 2025. So this is all developing from last year, y'all. Good afternoon. Hey, Gifted. Okay, 6th grader. My gosh, yeah. 7th grader, actually, right? Her family reported her missing, but the case stayed cold until her remains turned up months later. She was described by loved ones as a bright, loving girl whose life was tragically cut short. Right? Once again, how could she be missing, but you let her go and date David? I've seen reports that you let her go and date David. And you know what it is? These parents, they don't want to admit that they let their kids go with these celebrities. They don't want to admit it. Just like the parents of the R. Kelly abused 5 kids don't want people to know that they was really money hungry and starstruck for their kids to get around R. Kelly. And when it didn't go their way and their kid wasn't the next Aaliyah, they turned on him. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yes, R. Kelly, was treating them girls wrong. Yes. But I don't think he's all to blame for it. I think he had help. I think the parents are at fault. Nobody's saying nothing about that. And I think that R. Kelly should have just as right enough to get out as any other of those doggone killer fires and horrible people that the man that started with a T let out of jailification. The only reason why he didn't let Diddy out is because Diddy said something about him the next time he was getting ready to run. And what he said about Mr. T was that if he gets elected, it's going to be allegedly a race war. And Mr. T didn't like that. But did he lie? Did he lie? So Diddy was also starting his own political party. And you know, when you do that, people get their panties in a bunch. And I believe these are all bigger pictures than what we see as a situation here. I feel like it's a bigger picture in all of this. It's a bigger picture in R. Kelly. It's a bigger picture with Diddy. Because all we see is the thing that happened with Cassie. We don't see beyond that. I feel like it's stuff beyond that that's happening. And then they make these things close in on them. All right. So now we're going to go through. They finally got the autopsy done. All right. What else we got to talk? Okay. So this is for the people who ain't too familiar with the case. I like to do a little backstory so that when we start talking about other stuff, you know what's going on. So early in September 2025, Tesla registered to David Burke was abandoned on a Los Angeles street during a peak summer heat and eventually was towed to an impound yard. Workers noticed that a strong odor of decay and insects was swarming a black cadaver bag in the front trunk. And inside, Celeste's head and torso was in one bed. Now, this is going to get a little graphic. This is a little graphic. I don't know how many people knew this, but they put her in bags. One bag had her headification and torso in it, and her arms and her leg were severed, allegedly, and placed in a second bag underneath. And the body was badly decomposed, and the identification took a little time, but they finally identified it as Celeste. DNA and fingerprints confirmed that it was her. And the car had been sitting there for weeks. LAPD's robbery and homicide division took over. Prosecutors say uncooperative witnesses. The people around David didn't cooperate. His parents, uncooperative. Everybody around him. I don't know. But witnesses forced them to use being that the witnesses were uncooperative, it forced them to use a grand jury. Investigators pieced together a photo trail, a social media, and a Twitch live stream, and other evidence linking David to Celeste. Reports suggested a prolonged relationship that began when she was really, really young. On April 16th, thank you, Kim, 2026, LAPD arrested the 21-year-old singer. So this is very recent. Okay, April 16th. Very recent. Arrested the 21-year-old singer at his Hollywood Hills rental home just over a mile from the tow yard. Wow, he stayed around the area of the crime. Thank you so much, Kim. I forgot to set my gift gallery, y'all. Hold on, let me set my gift gallery before. Hold up, y'all. Let me set this gift gallery. We got the hand hearts. Let's finish doing the hand hearts. Then we'll do something else. All right. So on April 16th, LAPD arrested 21-year-old singer at the Hollywood Hills rental home just over a mile from the tow yard. You could tell he was young because anybody that was older would have been like, I'm getting away from this tow yard. Let's move to New York. Let's move somewhere else. He stayed right near the scene of the crime. Right? He surrendered without resistance. Heavy police presence was caught on video. He was booked into LAPD's 77th Station Precinct and held without bail. The charges and arraignment. April 20th, 2026. The LA Police County DA Nathan Hochman announced formal charges of 1 count of first-degree murder with special circumstances and continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14 and a unlawful mutilation of human remains. So we're going to go through the autopsy in just a minute, where they talk about how her actual, and everything's all alleged in Miss Knockhouse Live, unalivement came from her being poked with sharp objects being stuck through her. Sad, sad, sad times. I feel like people don't even value a life no more. Wouldn't the average human be afraid? I would be afraid. I would be scared to take somebody's life. Wouldn't you? I would be scared to do it once firstly, and then I would be scared of the jail time, and I would be scared of the aftermath, and I would be scared to lose everything I worked for since I got planted on this earth. I would be scared all the way around. But these YNs and these people out, they ain't got no fear. They ain't got no fear, y'all. Right? So David appeared in an orange jumpsuit in court, and he pleaded not guilty to everything. His lawyer said the actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not unalive Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her unalivement. They are pushing for a speedy preliminary hearing, possibly as soon as May 1st, to see the evidence early, and he was transferred to LA County Men's Central Jail and placed in segregation solitary because of his high profile. Because somebody in here mentioned that if he gets put in regular population, he's going to be cooked. Because, see, the people in them don't like it when you mess with the kids. When you mess with the kids, they don't like that. Okay? Autopsy bombshell. Cause of death. Multiple penetrating. So the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner report is out. Okay? It was previously sealed at the police's request and is now public, and it is devastating. It is devastating. Cause of unalivement, multiple penetrating injuries caused by objects, specifically 2 penetrating wounds to the torso, 1 to the right abdomen with injury to the liver, and 1 to the left chest, disrupting the ribs. These may represent sharp force injuries, aka stabation wounds. Manner of unalivement, homicide. Additional findings. Dismembership of upper and lower extremities. Severe postmortem decomposition. Body weight just over 71 pounds when found. Eye color, exact age, and ethnic could not be visually confirmed due to decay. So she was so decayed that they couldn't even identify her. They had to use other means. Toxicology. Presumptive positives for benzodiazepines and methamphetamines and MDMA, which we'll talk about more. Time and place of injury unknown due to the advanced state of decomposition. Extra evidence was found. Okay, this is getting ready to get deep. Trigger warning. Extra evidence was found. Child pedicure was found on his phone. So that means that this little dude has a sickness. Okay? Hey, Patty, this little dude has a sickness. He has child pedicure that was found on his phone. Belonging to David contained a significant amount of child filmology. This is being used to support his sexual abuse charges. So they still going to charge him with sexual abuse because that case was already going, and that case is what made this happen to Celeste. So they're probably going to incorporate it all into the case. So he remains in custody in the LA Men's Central Jail, held without bail, in segregation for safety, solitude. No new court dates beyond the upcoming preliminary hearing, where prosecutors must show their evidence. His music career is basically over for the moment. Streams and tours have halted amid the scandal, and defense is fighting hard and insistent that he is innocent and the evidence will clear him. Well, the prosecutor said that they can't wait to present the evidence, and they say quite the different. They say quite a different story. Now, let's go through this autopsy with a professional. She worked in, the department that reviews unalive bodies all the time. She's a specialist, so let's get into it.
News: the autopsy report for Celeste Rivas Hernandez in the David murder investigation has just been released. Welcome to Sidebar.
Battery 90%. Connected to.
All right, everybody, keep tapifying, keep sharifying. Everybody, come on in. The time is just flying, right?
Sidebar, as I mentioned right here. This is what we've been waiting for in the David investigation, in the Celeste Rivas death investigation, and this is the coroner's report. So it just came in, right? So after David was arrested, after he has been charged with the death of, charged with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, this is what we've been waiting for. The cause of death. This has been sealed for months, and this is providing a lot of details. I'm going to tell you right now, it is very difficult to read through this. It is gruesome, but this is going to be a key point for both the prosecution and the defense. We know that Celeste's body, the body of this 14-year-old girl, was found in the trunk of a Tesla that was allegedly registered to David in Los Angeles back on September 8th, 2025. And again, this is going to be a key factor in this prosecution as he faces not only first-degree murder charges, because they're highlighting special circumstances here, lying in wait, financial gain, that she was a witness to a crime. But he's also facing sentencing. I'm not going to do it by myself. I want to make sense of this. I'm bringing on Mary Jambelic, a former forensic pathologist and former chief medical examiner, to go through this. Mary, thank you so much for taking the time. Before we even get started into the details, I would be remiss if I didn't just start with the statement from the County of Los Angeles medical examiner. I'm going to read it verbatim. The County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiner determined the cause and manner of death for 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez as multiple penetrating injuries caused by objects. The manner of death is homicide. Ms. Rivas Hernandez was discovered at 1100 hours on September 8, 2025, in the front trunk of a vehicle in a tow yard in Los Angeles, and death was pronounced by a detective with the LAPD. A deputy medical examiner conducted an examination of Ms. Rivas Hernandez on September 10th, 2025, at the DME's Forensic Science Center. The cause and manner of death were determined December 9th, 2025. A court order initiated by the LAPD previously prevented the DME from releasing its findings. And this is the statement of Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Ode Akpo. After several months, I am grateful this information can now be released not only to the public, but also to the grieving family enduring loss. It is unfathomable they have had to wait this long to learn what happened to their daughter. The transparency of the information contained in our findings and reports is essential for empowering the community to make informed changes to effectively reduce fear and allowing the community to take informed action. Making the department's information publicly available is not just about accountability, it is also about social justice and prevention. By ensuring access to this information, we strengthen our ability to learn, to act, and ultimately to prevent the next tragic loss of life. I want to extend my gratitude to our partner agencies for taking the necessary step of filing an order with the court to make this disclosure possible. Mary, I'll first start there. It's not every day you hear a statement like this from a chief medical examiner. Let's start right there.
That's true. Sometimes we don't want to release the specifics about the cause of death in an active investigation because perhaps it's information that only the killer would know. And so that's understandable that might be obscured initially. But I think what the chief medical examiner in LA is saying is that they had this information, they wanted to release this information, and they were thwarted in doing so.
And when you hear, I'm reading from it, right? So the date of the injury, they say, is unknown. The place of the injury is unknown. Pronounced date, time, September 8th, 2025, 11 a.m. Date of examination, September 10th, 2025. And it was complete.
So at this point, we might find out in the trial, right? But at this point, they're not saying where he did it to her. Was it the house? Was it somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? When, where, all these things are probably going to come out in the trial.
Right? So December 9th, 2025. Is that time span typical?
I think from September to December, that's reasonable because they're awaiting certain specialty ancillary tests, such as toxicologic examination. And it's much harder to do on a decomposing body than if it were fresh deceased. So the fact that that takes a couple months to get that information so that that's part of the whole picture of, what happened to this poor teenager, that's reasonable.
And just to be clear, as we talk about this, David is innocent until proven guilty, and his defense attorneys have said that he did not murder Celeste, and he is not the cause of her death. So I want to go through the specifics right now. Again, it is not easy to hear this, but this is going to be an important part of the legal case. So her cause of death has been ruled. Multiple.
And that is an important thing. The Tesla does have cameras in it, inside, outside, right? But I guess that's going to come up in court. I'm willing to bet they put those cameras. They got cameras on the inside and they got cameras all around on the outside, and you don't know where these cameras are to remove them. So the Tesla car is a snitch.
Penetrating injuries. Her death has been classified as a homicide. I'm going to read verbatim. And by the way, they put diagrams in here as well, but 2 penetrating wounds of the torso, right abdomen with injury to liver, left chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space and cortical disruption of adjacent ribs. Other findings, bilateral dismemberment of upper and lower extremities, multiple additional skin defects.
Wow.
Death was pronounced at the scene. Autopsy examination was limited by extensive postmortem changes. And by the way, this is something to keep in mind because you're talking about dismemberment and decomposition. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. The wound on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest penetrates one of the left intercostal spaces with disruption of the adjacent ribs cortical surfaces. The left lung appears intact.
Damn.
The bilateral upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment. Multiple other skin and soft tissue defects are present without apparent associated internal injuries. The etiology of these defects is not clearly apparent due to severe postmortem changes. Postmortem toxicology performed on liver tissue shows the presence of a low level of ethanol, which may be due in postmortem changes or ingestion, and does not appear to be contributory to the cause of death. Let's start right there.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean? And what does this tell you? And what are there still questions about?
Well, the body sounds like it's in a state of postmortem decomposition with some loss of integrity of the skin surface and some bloating and skin slippage, etc. But despite that, the medical examiner was able to identify 2 wounds that penetrated, meaning they went into the body, significantly into the liver, which would bleed a lot, and significantly into the lung, the space around the lung, which also would cause a problem with air and blood accumulating there. And if it were a freshly deceased person, perhaps the edges of the wounds would tell you the weapon much more clearly, but it's more difficult in a decomposing body. But they are trying to generally describe the wounds and the shape without saying it's absolutely a knife that did this.
And to be clear, I'm glad you mentioned that, because earlier in the week, when they talked about the charges and the special circumstances, it was very specific, a sharp instrument they claim was used. They didn't say it was a knife or an axe or something. They were just saying it was kind of specific. This was something that was picked up on by TMZ. They believe defense attorneys would jump on this. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. So in other words, is there room here to suggest that it was something else?
Something that was sharp enough to penetrate skin and underlying tissue and go into the liver and then into the space around the lung. Is it, what exactly is it? That's really the question. And I don't know that they'll be able to say exactly the weapon that was used.
We're listening.
Is there, and I'm going to go through this more. I don't want to ask this question. I have to ask this question. Is there anything in here to indicate that she was alive at the time of dismemberment?
Not from what the medical examiner described. It sounds like classic amputating the body to try to compact it, to hide it, to dispose of it. I've seen that in a number of homicide cases. So nothing that suggests that these amputations occurred while she was alive.
When you go to other parts of the report, they talk about tattoos, and they say description that she had a tattoo on the finger. This is something that we've talked about before that seemed to be the identifier, one of the ways that they identified her as Celeste. But when you go to other parts of her body, including eye color, cannot assess due to severe postmortem changes. Is that decomposition? Is that dismemberment? So I guess it becomes a question: how significant is that to determine?
So the reason why, and you got to be a certain kind of person, right? Like even when I'm in the kitchen and I'm getting ready to make some chicken legs, I stop buying the quarters because I want to sit there and saw the meat in half. Like, to dismemberize somebody, you have to be a mentally deficient person to do that. That's not no ordinarily sound mind task. That's like some horror picture show shit. Right? So they did that though, so that they could fit her into the bags, into the car. These YNs is like, why is y'all like that? These YNs out here today is built different, y'all. These YNs is built different these days. You better watch it when you out there walking past these YNs getting small. It's like, what? No. Let them YNs go ahead, because the YNs is built different these days, y'all. They are built different. They ain't built what? Let's listen.
Happened to her, and how much does that complicate this analysis?
Well, forensic pathologists are skilled at identifying wounds and trauma in all manner of body composition. So all the way from the freshly deceased to the skeletonized to the exhumed body. Taking all of that with the education and experience of the Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office, they're familiar with the interpretation of wounding in a body and seeing it at this decomposition level. So yes, of course it makes it harder. You have to really call on your knowledge base to interpret the wounds. The eyes being collapsed after death is normal. They lose their turgor. They don't they're not the same shape. So not being able to see her eye color, that's a completely normal thing.
Oh, wow.
In a decomposition like this.
Her weight was 71 pounds.
71 pounds.
You lose a lot of weight also, in this sort of death decomposition process.
Because you're not eating.
That's not reliable as to what her ante-mortem weight was.
I want to go to skin defects. Multiple skin defects are also present over the torso, with many perforating the skin and soft tissue without identifiable soft tissue hemorrhage or associated internal organ injuries. They range from 5/16 inch to 1/4 inches in greatest dimension. Multiple superficial linear abrasions are also noted on the right dorsal hand. The upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment with relatively flat cut surfaces through the soft tissue and bone. No discernible hemorrhage is identified at these sites. Multiple fragments of blue plastic material are found embedded in the cut surfaces. Representative fragments are collected by medical examiner criminalists and submitted to the evidence department on September 8th, 2025. The right upper extremity is dismembered 9 inches from the top of the shoulder. The left upper extremity is dismembered 5 inches from the top of the shoulder. The left fourth and fifth fingers are amputated. The right lower extremity is dismembered in 2 places. One site is 12.
So I wonder why they specifically amputated the 4 fingers, right? And I was told, right, in my research that she had this tattoo on her finger, like him and her had this tattoo, this love tattoo. Do you think that he cut off that finger to get rid of that tattoo? I don't know.
12 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 10 inches from the bottom of the heel. The left lower extremity is dismembered in 2 places. One site is 9 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 15 inches from the bottom of the heel. It says the head is partially skeletonized with an absent left eye, and there is liquefaction of the soft tissues.
He's using my
What
words
does this
now.
tell you about how she was dismembered?
Hey, sir, you using my word and terminology? He said liquefaction. Did y'all hear him say liquefaction? He said liquefaction. Sir. Sir, are you using my lingo, sir?
With Potbelly's Pick Your Pair, you choose from hundreds of pairs for whatever you're
I said
craving.
liquefaction.
One too many pairs of shoes?
All right, y'all, everybody, come on in. We're going over the
Sell
autopsy
them on
report
Vinted.
of Celeste.
It's so easy.
All right, everybody, come on in. We got
Take
a little
clear pictures, add a description that will seal the deal, and make your sale with 0 fees. Earning extra cash is really that simple.
All right,
One
everybody,
pair
top
down,
5, everybody, share
just
fine.
5 more to go.
You can watch this all when it's
Download
over.
Vinted and start selling today.
You can watch this back on my Y to the Tubesy, face to the Booksies, twitchy. Oh, what happened? It just kicked me out. Come on now. What's wrong with you? Hold on, y'all. Let's get back in there. Hold on. Watch out, just like a watch. All right, y'all. Let's get back to the get back. Okay, here we go.
It's important in dismemberment to look at the edges of the wounds. So any tool marks, any particular saw that might have been used to do this. The fact that there are these blue flecks give you some clue. If you're able to then locate something that was used in the process. And just doing the careful tool mark analysis on the ends of the bones in all of the amputations, the fact that everything is together there in the there's the body bag and then there's the trash bag with the limbs in it. They weren't discarded in different places.
Thank you, Lyric.
So you have a lot of material to work on to try to figure out what was used to cut through the limbs.
What what amount of effort or tools would be needed to do something like this? And based on the description, I hate to say this, is this someone you would suggest is sloppy, that has never done this before? Does it look disoriented in a way? Just trying to make sense of it.
You know, it's interesting because many people, when they try to dismember a body, they'll try to go for the joint.
Thank you
Somehow
so much,
they think that's a good place to go when that's
Thank you.
a really complicated place to disarticulate a limb. And so the fact that they didn't go for the joint says something about their logic. They were making cuts, presumably to be able to confine her and fit her into a certain amount of space. And so they not only cut the legs in one place. They
said the cuts was for to fit her inside the bags. They wasn't the initial, you know what I'm saying? I guess they yet to tell us how she was the initial thing, right? But now they're talking about how they were slicing and dicing her to make her fit in the area that they allowed it for her.
Places, you know, to fit them in. I think beyond that, you'd say someone's trying to hide the body. They are doing their best to compact the body to hide it, but they left it all there. So I can't really psychologically analyze that part.
How is an eye missing? Is that from decomposition?
Well, it's not really missing as much as it's all gone away. I believe there was mention also in the report of insect activity.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit?
No, they don't go into great detail about it or about how many generations of insects are there, but it's usually fly activity that we refer to, and adult flies lay eggs in moist places on the body, and then those eggs start to grow and become maggots, and then they keep getting bigger, and then they pupate into the next generation, etc., so forth. So they can do a lot of destruction because they're scavengers, if you will. So they will eat dead tissue, necrotic tissue, and just digest it and eat it, in there, and that's what they do. So many times they will go for the soft parts of the eye and other soft areas.
And does that tell you how long the body has been decomposing? And does it actually relate to a particular location? Is there specific insects that inhabit a certain location, or you could say perhaps there's evidence of those insects being in a certain location?
Yeah, I think that, the entomologist...
Everybody come on in. We're going over the David autopsy D4VD, whatever you want to call them. We're going over the autopsy report. Grossy. Because now they're talking about how the maggots were eating away her eyes. So her eyes weren't missing. Her eyes were eaten away by the bugs.
To do this work specifically, the forensic...
This is really crazy, ain't it?
They collect the maggots, they look at them, they see if there's pupa casings there, if any other material from the flies are there, to try to date it. That could give important information.
I'm good, thank you. Chilling for the
female reproductive tract.
The lovely roast of my parents. How are you? I'm
Uterus
doing good.
Present and not enlarged and without endometrial lesions and hemorrhage. Ovaries and fallopian tubes appropriate for age.
It is
other
really
areas
sad.
Without lesions. Now it says other female reproductive.
So
tract.
you could tell. Okay, so they're going into her female reproductive tracts. How much is left, because remember the body is decomposing now, you know what I'm saying? So we're going into how her body was stored, what's all going on, and this don't be eating nothing, okay?
Finding severe postmortem changes noted. This I just want to highlight because one of the allegations, right, has been put forward is that David was allegedly engaging in illegal sex acts with a minor, right, with presumably Celeste. And I know that there was at one point a question of was she pregnant or not? There's nothing to indicate this. Is there something about this particular section that stands out to you?
No, the report indicates the uterus was normal, so it wasn't enlarged as it would be in pregnancy. There wasn't anything seen on the inner lining of the uterus that would be seen in pregnancy. The external genitalia, the description is of decomposed tissue. So whether there was forceful penetration there,
they can't tell it.
Because of the advanced state of the decomposition, it wouldn't be seen.
I just want to go back to the skin defects.
So on that note, they probably couldn't tell if he had sex with him or her, which that they already had contact with her, because remember, we're learning that this whole thing is coming about because it got back to people and the authorities that he was having sex with this child, and the child became the main witness. She was the main witness in the case, right? So only her and maybe him and other people around knows if he actually penetrated her. Okay? What are you talking about? I'm late to the convo. We're talking about D4VD case, all right, where he allegedly is accused of unaliving a 14-year-old girl and putting her, or somebody put her in the Tesla trunk and they found her, and they finally arrested him, and the case is getting ready to go on to figure out if he did this to her or not. So that's what we're talking about. So David Burke was a singer, okay, and he had a millennium following. Oh, okay, I heard about that. Yes, so that's what we're talking about here today. Welcome, my Miss Knockout. I do hot topics on here. Okay, so you probably don't. I'm probably the only one you'll see on here doing hot topics so far. I went in one girl's room, and she was like, "Oh, what you do?" And I told her, and I said, "I'll never do that again." Because I told her what I did, and she read my thing, and she said, "Oh, good. Now I'm doing hot topics." And then her friends was in the box talking about, "Yeah, you do it. Like, F her. Yeah, that's what you do when you." No, you ain't going to just jump up and do what I do. I got a skill set. I actually have a press pass. I'm actually a real journalist. So I said, let me find out. I'm networking around this Rainbow app. I go in this girl's room. She talking about stealing my doggone content. You can steal all you want. You can never be Miss Knockout. Because I'm experienced in this. You just stealing somebody's content. Like, because you know, everything ain't you. You got to find your own stuff. Like Little Kim said, get your own thing. Why you writing mine? Right? So yeah, she was, and then I haven't seen her again. Then I never seen her again. What's up, Kay? Then I never seen her again. So she said she was going to come on and steal my content. And her and her friends agreed. You know what I'm saying? So I took my orbit back. I said, I ain't going in your area again. Get out of here. I don't like grimy people. One thing I don't like is grimy people. Be yourself. You can never be Miss Knockout on your worst day, best day, whatever. So anyway, everybody coming in, you can watch my whole live back on Y to the 2Z, Miss Knockout TV. Everything is Miss Knockout, 2 S's. You can watch the whole thing back on Twitchy, XE, Face to the Booksies, YouTube Z, you name it. So we're talking about the autopsy that was finally made public for the singer D4VD, aka David and Celeste Rivas, who was found in the trunk of his Tesla that was owned by him. And we're going over the autopsy report. Let's continue.
We didn't talk about, or maybe we did. I just need to know if this provides any more information. Skin defect, 34th inch. Entrance involving the right abdomen, 21 inches below the top of the head.
Thank you, Charlene.
1 inch right of midline is a 3/4 inch length, penetrating wound, smooth edges. The wound is orientated in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock directions. The wound tract sequentially perforates the skin and soft tissue of the right abdomen and the liver. The wound tract is an approximately depth of 1.5 inches front to back. The skin defect involving the lateral left lower chest, 15 inches below the top of the head. 6 inches left of midline is a 9/16 inch penetrating wound with smooth edges. Path, the wound track sequentially perforates the skin and soft tissue of the lateral left lower chest, left intercostal space, and enters the left chest cavity. The wound track has a depth of at least 2 inches left to right. The adjacent ribs show disruption of the cortical bone. Is this anything that we haven't
I
taken?
mean, those are the serious fatal wounds that are described by the medical
She
examiner.
said serious fatal wounds.
As I said, going into the body cavity and hitting the liver, which would bleed extensively, and then hitting the pleural cavity on the left.
If you're outside and you get into a fight and somebody has a knifeification and they poke you in your liver, that's it. Your TV is going to go off. That will shut your TV off. All right? Rev! Hey, Rev, what's up with you, girl? How are you? What's up? I hope you're feeling better. I wanted to call you, but I don't know what the right time is to call you because you always say you're working and you're in the meeting the last time I called, but I wanted to try back. I just don't know when to call. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Rev? I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling good. Always good to see you. So everybody that's just coming in, we're talking about the D4VD case. And they finally had the autopsy, which they made public, and we're going over that. I wish I could get out there to that case. I got so much going on here. I wouldn't mind dipping out and going to the case. Armand was at the case. He said he was the only YouTuber there. A lot of people ain't interested in that like they was interested in Diddy. Diddy was a special kind of case that comes around once every light year. Luigi Mangione case is not like that. But all the other cases I went to, right? Those people that came out for Diddy, they don't come out to all these other cases because they're not interested in it. Diddy brought him out, right? So David is not bringing him out either. He's not bringing him out either. Because Armand said that he was the only YouTuber there and the machine. So I wouldn't mind jumping on a plane for a few days. I think the next case is May 1st. The next case is May 1st. I wouldn't mind jumping on a plane and going out there and sitting in the courtroom for that next case and seeing what's all going on. I'm surprised Tisa Tells ain't there. I gotta call Tisa Tells. I haven't called. She gave me a number. I gotta call Tisa Tells. But and Nick at Night and all these people to stay in touch with them. You know what I'm saying? I want to stay in touch with them just in case. I might want to go to LA. You know, you got to know people out there. I know Kalila out there. You know, I want to know a few people out there. Hey, yes, I'm doing awesome. I heading into 2 meetings. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing good, Rev. I'm glad you're doing good. Yeah, a lot of people have been quiet. A lot of people have been quiet, right? So everybody come on in. Everybody, we are now on all platforms, the Y to the Tubesy, the Twitchy Itchy, the Face to the Booksies, and the XE with Elon Musty, all right? And I'm even on the LinkedIn to the Den, the LinkedIn, all right? So you can watch my broadcast back in its entirety after you finish if you came late. All right, my YouTube is going on 3 hours. They probably saying this girl got some long YouTubes. How long should my YouTube get? If I got a 4-hour YouTube, right? Everybody ain't gonna, but some people will sit there and watch it, right? Should I break it up? I should break the YouTube up, right? I'm gonna chop it up and put clips of my YouTube up too. I gotta put clips of it up too, but I gotta, it's all work. It's all work. So, I had to learn all the technical stuff, and now I'm learning stuff, and now I'm doing everything at one time. But the clock I got to do separately because the clock, they don't like to be with the bunch. Eventually I'm gonna next week I have my new computer. I have my new computer next week. So next week I should be able to get on TikTok Studio too. Get on TikTok Studio and get in there. All right, so let's get into it. Let's listen
air and blood to fill up that space.
Looking through the window too. Looking through the window, right?
Blood and seeing the air is not possible this many days of decomposition, but the wounds are there and they mark the track of the penetrating weapon. The fact that there's injury on the ribs themselves might be analyzed for a specific weapon as well. The markings on the ribs.
TMZ reported this. It, I believe, is to be in here as well, the toxicology findings, right? So it says there was I believe, a presumptive positive for methamphetamine and MDMA, but then apparently there was another screening that says meth was inconclusive, MDMA was not detected, that Celeste may have had alcohol in her system, didn't contribute to her death. I think we touched upon that before.
Right.
What, if you're reading the same thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but what does that tell you?
Well, just referring to the toxicology screening, you can screen for drugs and there can be interfering substances that might look like it's positive for a drug. And then when you do the in-depth analysis to confirm if that's present or not present, that's the more definitive test. So the not detected results after the screening is more relevant, that she didn't have that in her system. The alcohol, you can form alcohol, ethanol, after death in the decomposition process. And so having some there in a decomposed body is not indicative of imbibing the alcohol.
And just one more thing I want to touch upon. This is towards the end, just goes into more of the report, how when her body was found, she was wearing a tube top, underwear, leggings, and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and back of the tube top. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. The decedent was in an advanced state of decomposition demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity, partial skeletonization, and skin slippage. Goes on at another point. She was dismembered and was inside a black body bag and black trash bag. We've known some of this before, but it's just so difficult to hear. Final thoughts on this and anything that we're missing from the report that stood out to you?
I mean, I think the medical examiner did a thorough job. And in fact, associating the clothing with the wounds on the body is a very important part of analyzing, the penetrating wounds. So some of those additional injuries in the clothing may shed some light on the marks that can't be further identified on the body. I think determining that it's these two fatal wounds that are the primary cause of death and that it's a homicide is very important here.
So the two fatal wounds, they're talking about the sharp object that poked her in her liver and her torso. So they're saying that's the initial.
I know it's never easy to go through this. I know it's never easy to go through it when you're dealing with a child, but that is exactly what the situation is here. And I appreciate really coming on very quickly to break this down with me. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
All right. So there we have it. So this girl was, she was done beyond dirty, beyond violated, young girl, got in over her head. A lot of people want to be around these stars. They want to be around these stars. Right. And I believe that it's not only him. Even though he's the only one that got arrested, I believe that other people around him knew what was going on, might have participated in certain things that went on. Say a lot of these people get arrested alone, but they don't act alone. Right? They don't act. That's why I was listening to Mace talk, and Mace said, right, that used to be down with Diddy. He said that he don't talk to none of the people that from the bad boy era because he feel like they just as guilty. They all speaking out and they were all done dirty and speaking out on all the horrible stuff that Diddy was doing. But they said, Mace was saying, you was around there enabling him at the time. You was enabling him. You was down with it. And now all of a sudden you telling on him. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden you telling on him. You writing books. But you was in the studio You seen all this stuff going on and you did nothing. And I feel like David probably got other people around him that's older than him, adults, friends, that participated to a degree and seen him doing all this stuff. A lot of artists have a lot of yes men. Yes men. Thank you for the 130K, y'all. Thank you. A lot of artists have yes men around them. They got people around them that's yes, 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 yes. I was watching Tahira Simmons talk about DMX and how she got married to him before the fame. But the yes man comes around him. Oh, you want pharmaceuticals? Yes. You want this? Yes. You want to do this? Yes. Everything's yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Hey, Lisa. You know what I'm saying? They enable all of them. Michael Jackson, Prince, DMX. Oh, what do you need? Oh, let me go get you pharmaceuticals. Oh, yeah, we got that. Oh, yeah. Easy access. Giving it to them. Sometimes it's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people keep these stars in the days so that they can steal their publishing and control them. Because a lot of these stars are strong-headed. Prince was a strong-headed person. Prince hid his pharmaceutical use from everybody. Right? And looking lo and behold, here we are. With a lot of these superstars that's not here no more, that should have been here. Prince should be here. Michael Jackson should be here. You know? So we're living in uncertain times. A lot of these artists, a lot of them know that they got to operate with both feet on the ground and watch their surroundings. A lot of people get these yes people around them and they think everything is sweet. Right? So, yeah, so this young girl trial is going on. Right? These YNs are built different these days. They built real different. Publishing and greed from the top. Right. Publishing and greed. Publishing and greed. So let's continue on with some stuff. Everybody come on in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody tapify. Everybody blessify Miss Knockout so she won't be brokified. Just like you blessify those doggone power beggars. Just like you blessify the power beggars, y'all. All right, so I can keep coming here bringing you the news. So Ashley's body has been brought home. All right, did y'all hear that? So Ashley's body has been brought home. All right, and the thank you, Shauna. Word on the curb is we don't know exactly what's going on with Joe McCann, but what I do know is that the USA and the FBI and the powers that be here can pick investigation whenever Joe McCann's foot touches American soil again, and I think he knows that, and that's why he's making himself scarce, because he's probably afraid of that. He is very afraid of that. All right, so let's go into this. Ashley Janae's body is back. All right, I feel like the family, right, should have went over to Tanzania before they wrapped, because being that they are sent the body back, that means that they wrapped the case up. The family member, I don't want to wrap the case up because I have no info. I want to know what the heck is going on, right? So I feel like her family missed the mark when it comes to like getting to the bottom of things and going over there. I feel like her family like missed the mark by not at least sending one person over there. Okay, I'm trying to find this show. At least one person they should have sent over there.
The fact of why Zanzibar would release her body. Like I said, so happy for their.
Okay, so let's listen to Trent out loud. All right, a lot of people did a good job covering this. Fumi, Sheba, Lovely T, Tisa Tells. Everybody did such a great job. And now that they wrapped up and they sent the body back, that usually means that they've finished their investigations on the case. And the investigations on the case, in my mind, is not finished because we don't know what the F happened over there. I feel like they're covering up. I feel like somebody got money paying people off. Somebody's really, really quiet. Really, really quiet.
We finally have some good news in the Ashley Janae case. Ashley's father, Harry Robinson, tweeted out this picture and caption, "Our baby is back home in the States." And though I am overwhelmed with joy for her parents, we still need to talk about this guy, Joe McCann. And after we're done talking about Joe, we are going to give you guys some answers to your most pressing questions. What's going on with the autopsy and the toxicology report? What did the U.S. Embassy ultimately do to help Ashley Janae and her family? What can the U.S. do now that Ashley's body is back in the United States of America? We have an update on Zanzibar's investigation. A lot of you have asked, did they close the case? Have they changed their initial ruling that Ashley unalived herself? We're also going to touch on the hotel evidence, Joe's passport. What the heck is going on? What are Ashley's parents going to do next? We got a whole lot to cover. Sit back, relax. I'll tell you everything below. Let's kick things off with the missteps of the announcement of Ashley Janae's body being returned home to the U.S. Now, earlier today, I made a video and I gave you guys updates from a reporter, Ashley's parents. During that video, I read to you guys about Ashley's parents having a lawyer or having a publicist and continuing with the investigation. And I mentioned, said, stay tuned later today for an announcement or tomorrow. At that time, I knew her body was back, but my source, the reporter, told me in block letters, do not say that her body is back in the United States.
Really?
I have right here Savannah Britt, who was one of Ashley's friends and who's been doing a great job of taking on her own. She retweeted her father, Harry Robinson, saying Ashley's body is back home in the States. Now, from what I have gathered over the past 24 hours, speaking back with this reporter, it was a little bit of a misstep. There's a little bit of miscommunication. Perhaps the mom and some people on the team did not want the announcement to come out, but the father, Harry, wanted to put that out. That is what I am hearing. I am always going to be on the side of respecting the family and, of course, respecting my sources when they give me information. If you're wondering why I didn't tell you guys in that video, I was given direction not to say. Seeing that Savannah has put this out, she tweeted this and she said, Ashley's body has been returned to the United States. Please keep her family in your hearts and prayers as they await the results of the autopsy and the investigation continues.
So with her body being brought, thank you, Luna Bell, thank you. With her body being brought over here, right? I would assume and hopefully think that the parents hire another independent autopsy over here, right? But we don't know what they did to the body over there. We don't know what they did to the body over there. We just don't know. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, anything is possible these days. It could alter stuff or whatever. But if I was the family, I would order another independent autopsy. And I would open the investigation over here so that when Joe McCann comes and steps his foot back on U.S. soil, it's on and popping again. and find out what the heck went on over there. Okay? Let's listen.
Savannah and her daddy could say it, I am going to say it. Ashley's body is back home in the U.S.
Thank you, Lord.
With that out the way, let's move on to the autopsy and the toxicology report.
Uh-oh. Hold on, yo. I don't know why it keeps kicking me out. This internet is bugging out on a Sunday. Hold up, yo.
Zanzibar officials are done with their reporting and the samples that they have collected. That is why Ashley's body was able to be released. But with that comes a whole bunch of other questions. Now, the U.S. Embassy was, of course, over there, from what we've heard, to oversee the autopsy and investigation. The difference of overseeing versus actually doing it is not that they're actually in the room during the autopsy and toxicology. The U.S. Embassy is just there to kind of relay information back to the family in a more official way, instead of being on the phone with a grieving family member or friend. So that was the U.S. Embassy's role. I'm sure a lot of you, even myself, was thinking, oh, maybe they could be in the room, they could do whatever. No, I've been told and been given 100% concrete information that the U.S. Embassy's people are not directly in the room. And that, again, opens up more questions. But let me get to that. I'll get to that in a minute. The fact that Ashley's body is back in the U.S. now, a lot of people have said, well, what does that mean? Can the U.S. conduct their own autopsy and their own toxicology and start their own investigation? And the answer is yes. Zanzibar has their samples, has done their stuff, and you can continue to do autopsies. And even after the U.S., her parents can do an independent autopsy and toxicology. But there are still things that go along with that, and I have them here. First thing is, even if the U.S. or an independent autopsy is done, and they, for example, find different findings, let's just say, findings that she didn't self-unalive herself, findings of other things that the U.S. does not agree with over in Zanzibar, the U.S. can't necessarily make Zanzibar change or apply charges to Joe, the workers, or anybody they might believe after their autopsy and toxicology. They're two different countries, but the U.S. can apply pressure. What does pressure mean? It literally just means, who in Congress can Ashley, her friends, or celebrities, because you know there's some celebrities involved here. Joe Button has been involved, academics, not necessarily celebrity, but media, and Cardi B.
They need, in other words, they need to go to somebody in the government that can passionately take this case. The first person that comes to my mind is Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, right? To make the people over here do a thorough investigation to find out what happened, to interview these people over there in Tanzania. Now, the problem with Tanzania is that they're not our friends because of the man that starts with a T. They came out and said some horrible things about us because we're boxed in with the man that starts with a T, because they are on the block list to come to America. They are on the out list to get out of America, Tanzania. And they didn't like that too much. That the man that starts with a T put them on the block list, saying, you can't come in our country. Oh, we can't come in your country, eh? Well, then we ain't going to help you solve this little murderation you got going on. Here, take this body back and have a nice day. So Tanzania is not a cooperative all the way. I'm sure it happened on their clock. They got to do their little 1-2 step. But I don't feel like they put forth a great effort to get to the bottom of this. And I also feel like, and I know from doing my research, that this is a company where people get paid off a lot. They get paid off a lot. The American dollar is worth so much over there. You could go live like a king or a queen. You could get in a mansion over there. Allegedly, all this man got to do is say, here, let's be quiet here, shut up here, be quiet here, make that go away. His friends, he's friends with the hotel owner. The hotel owner is on some weird stuff. He got all kinds of movies out about psychedelics and psychotic businessmen and all of that. And remember what the psychic said, Sloan Bella. She said that he's involved in the deep, dark web. Everything's all alleged, right? And they're playing some sort of game. And he had to unalive her in this game. He was checked because he owes money. He owes money. So there's a lot of creepy stuff going on. Okay. The housekeepers also. The housekeepers, yeah, everybody. Okay, let's listen.
I've given the example before of Savannah Guthrie and Nancy Guthrie. You have the attention of the United States of America, the president of the United States of America. He can now say, all right, Kash Patel, FBI, etc., put pressure. We want to find where Nancy is. If you have that,
Kash Patel was in there looking to find where Nancy was, wasn't he? Kash Patel don't want to find Nancy because he knows what happened to her. Kash Patel knows what happened to Nancy. I'm going to keep going back to this. And everything's all alleged. Remember this one small thing. Nancy's daughter, what's her name? Savannah? She interviewed the victims from the EpiPen files. Always keep that in your mind. And there's people that did not like this because those victims made some heavy allegations. And this was 2019, before that thing was elected. And he was included in the allegations, and they did not like it that she gave them a voice. So you figure out what happened to Nancy Guthrie. I'll leave it up to you because they looking in all the wrong places, I feel. I wish Sloan Bella would do Nancy Guthrie. I wish she would do Nancy Guthrie. Right? So Kat Patel, he was in there and poking his nose in looking for Nancy, or at least pretending. I feel like he was pretending like he was looking for her to make it look good. And then he dipped his behind out of there. And now he's busy because they accusing him of swimming in a liquoration bottle, allegedly. I don't know if he is, he ain't. So we're not saying nothing over here. But he got a big investigation going on to see if he's been hanging out with Smirnoff and, Ciroc and all these people. I don't know. But I feel like he was over there just enough to make it look good, and they ain't find Jack because they don't want to find that Jack. They could find that woman if they want. They know what happened to that woman. Mr. Jack, they know what happened to that woman. They don't want to find that woman. We don't want Kash Patel nowhere near this case. Because he's with that man that starts with a T, and they don't like us. They don't like us. So what good is they going to do investigating this case? They don't give a F about that girl. Right? Let's listen.
A level of pressure over in Zanzibar, you could be for sure that the U.S. can change. But if you have just a congressman or woman that somebody doesn't know, calling them up and saying, hey, we found something a little bit different, they might be like, well, who the heck are you? So that is where Ashley's entertainment connections, celebrity friends, and or international pressure can come in once the U.S. does an autopsy or toxicology. We don't even know if they are. I'm just giving you the what could happen if they do, and I'm praying that they do. Okay, here's the second thing that worries me. The fact now that we know that the U.S. Embassy was not directly in the room, and even if they weren't there the whole time. Could her body have been tampered with? Yes, 110%. Yes. We do know that there was some sort of level of corruption that has been going on. When we first heard about this, it was the case was zipped up in 24 hours. Up, she unalived herself. Done. Nothing. They didn't even question Joe. They didn't even question people. They just was a self unaliving and done. So we know that there is some sort of level of corruption, and we know through various amount of videos that we've spoken about, people over there that have been born there and live there say that there is a ton of corruption and it's super easy. And it's easier for somebody who's white and worth $50 million. So I don't trust that her body has not been tampered with, my personal opinion. Now, not only can the US apply pressure and change stuff over there, there can be charges brought here in the US, but very, 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 very difficult. And there also could be
So the reason why I agree with him that it will be difficult is because they don't have all the witnesses here. See, it's easier where all the witnesses and everybody involved in is in the US, right? But now we got everybody as a witness over there in Tanzania. And then we got the government going, you better not go over there and cooperate with nobody. This is the law of the land. Okay? I have to go now. Okay, see you soon. Thank you so much. See you soon. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back. And when I get off, I don't know if I'm going to be back one tonight, but I'll be back early tomorrow morning. All right? We'll be back early tomorrow morning. I mean early, like 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? The government is not going to let the people of the land participate as being witnesses to solve this girl's unalignment, especially after people probably been paid off to be quiet, this, that, switch this, switch that. They ain't trying to let these people be witnesses no bit. We would have to figure it out on our own, and plus question Joe McCann, and Joe McCann's going to tell a bunch of lies. He going to tell a bunch of lies to cover his assification. He ain't going to give us the straight facts. But at least questioning him, right? Questioning him will figure out stuff. And then getting her phone. I would get also, if I was the parents, I would get with an FBI agent or law enforcement, and I would get a hold of all her computer records, all her cell phone records, all of it. I would get a hold of all her records, because her records and what she was all talking about will be very helpful in the case, because the witnesses is going to be sketchy because they all from over there.
Civil case brought against Joe.
Oh yeah, I said that too.
Again, very rare. I'm just giving you what is possible.
I believe that the parents should also bring a civil case to Joe. And they need to drain that swamp. Now, you can't get your child's life back, right? But to get some kind of justice for their kid, how do you get to a person? Through their pockets. That's how you get to people. That's why everybody's suing Diddy, because they know that's going to get to him. Hitting them in his pockets. Right? That's where they need to hit that man that starts with a T. They need to start hitting him with his pockets. He making a mad amount of money being a president, which you ain't supposed to make as president, but he making a mad amount of money, allegedly, as president. Billions of dollars, deals, lining his pockets and his cronies' pockets. Okay? Let's run up like that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deshaun. So, hit him in his pockets. She was unalived on your watch, sir. Under your clock, she was unalived. So now since you didn't want to lift the finger to bring us to Zanzibar, you didn't want to lift the finger. Are you going to pay for her funeral? Let's see what's going to happen. Joe, what you going to say, Joe? Nothing? You can't just not say nothing. Because it don't make sense. This girl was your fiance. You got on one knee, you proposed to her. Now you come home and you're not saying nothing? You're not paying for a funeral cost? You're not talking to the family about what happened? And I believe half of the reason why Joe McCann isn't talking is because he got to lawyer it up. He probably's lawyered up. So he going to use that as an excuse. Oh, I can't talk to you. My lawyer said don't talk. Oh, why you got a lawyer? Did you do something wrong, sir? Why you got a lawyer? We want to know what happened to her. What happened? If you ain't do nothing, tell us what happened. He ain't going to be able to tell you what happened because he know what the F happened. Good and well. What's up, Liz? He know good and well what the F happened. He know what happened. Once he starts talking and telling stories, when you tell one lie, you got to cover the other one. Right. Come to the front. Right. When you tell one lie, when you start telling a story, okay, see, we went over to Tanzania, and then the first night, okay, we went out and we went to dinner. And once you start telling a story, you're going to trip yourself up. What's up, Pumpy? Oh, I thought you said this. Oh, how was this? Oh, that. What happened? Who found them? Where were you at? You're not going to get a straight answer out of Joe. That's why I said the parents should sue the crap out of him. Thank you, Heather. And hit him in them pockets. Since you don't want to open your mouth, we're going to hit you in your pockets. That's the only way you're going to get some kind of justice, because Tanzania ain't cooperating with us like that. They just not. They not.
Now that her body is back here, okay? But just from the information that I've gathered and my experience,
thank you for the 150K.
Family, and who I hope I was watching this and I've heard have been watching my videos, please concentrate on bringing charges over there. I know it's hard. Raise money. Use the Joe Buttons, use the Cardi B's, use the academics, use videos, use
Cardi B said something too. And then what he's saying is, because they wrapped this all up and sent the body home, now people are going to start talking about it, and they think people are going to forget about this, and then Joe McCann going to go back to his sweet, beautiful life with all his AI projects and stuff. But if we keep talking about it, you know what I'm saying? And keep digging and talking about it, because I'm telling you, something happened to this girl, and I don't believe for 1 second it's suicide. You got all this stuff going for you. You on a birthday trip. You with the animals. You looking beautiful. You got all these deals. You're a model. You're with this man with all this money. He proposing to you. And then all of a sudden you say to yourself, I want to unalive myself after all of this? No, it does not make sense. It does not make sense for a young girl like that who got everything going for her. Hey, what's up with you? To unalive herself.
Content creators' videos use the international media and put pressure on Zanzibar and the officials, because that is where the crime was committed. If there was a crime,
sounds ridiculous.
If there was a crime, and that is where it's going to be easiest to hold whoever did this to justice. Okay. Now, that is the autopsy and toxicology. Let's move on to
you can see it, Charlene, right?
Of why Zanzibar would release her body.
I didn't want to do it until after the live.
So happy for their parents, family members, whatever, that her body is back. Great. But
don't compromise on your sunscreen.
Yeah, my eye is red. You can see it. I didn't think you could see it.
At half the
but I do need to take my lens out. It's already worse, Charlene.
Have all pieces at Domino's right now.
Do you know
So I'm going to take it out when I get off of here. But listen, y'all. Okay, so we going on 4 hours. Everybody, thank you for coming to the Miss Knockout Show today. We'll resume early tomorrow. Okay, we'll resume early tomorrow. We got a lot of more stuff to talk about. We still got more updates with DVD. David, we still got more updates with Ashley. We're going to talk about, I'm just worried about you. Is that why it's causing your nose to run? Oh, that's what's causing my nose to run. Yeah, I think it is. That's what's causing my nose to run. I got to take it out, but I can't take it out till I get off of here, Charlene. Once I get off of here, I'm going to take it out. So, yeah, I didn't know y'all noticed it, but yeah, my eyes, I left my lens. I was working these last 2 days around the clock, and I left my lens in where I need to take it out, and then I got to come out again. So we will resume back here tomorrow, everybody. Early tomorrow. We got more stuff to talk about. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of cases. Okay, we got The Julio Fulio case is going on. The David case resumes it May 1st. All right. We got Ashley's body came back. So then we're going to see what they're going to do now that her body hit soil. Where is Joe McCain? Where's Joe McCain? Did he get released? Was Joe McCain released? Let's see. Is Joe McCain released from? Because how are they holding him for questioning and the body's already back in U.S. soil? Because he's hiding. Because he don't want to. He know he got to face the parents. What you going to tell them? Nothing. You going to tell him nothing? You know what I'm saying? So is Joe McCann released? Let's see. No, Joe McCann has not been released from questioning. So how they holding him beyond the body? As of latest reports today, April 26, Joe Isaac McCain is still in Zanzibar, actively being questioned by police as a key witness. His passport is still confiscated. So I believe that they protecting Joe. I believe Joe don't want to be released. They don't want to release him because once they release him to the States, the United States, which he got to come back, he might not come back. He might just start traveling. But his money is going funny. And his money really going to be funny after this. Ain't nobody going to be wanting to mess with Joe. His money really going to be funny after this. It's really going to be funny. All right? But everybody's watching and waiting for him to come back to the state. And you know that if you didn't do nothing, then you're going to tell everything that happened on the trip. If you did something, then you're going to probably keep your mouth shut. And I'm willing to bet that Joe's going to come back and he's going to hide as much as he can. You won't even talk to this girl's parents and you engaged to her? Funny style, red flag. If Joe McCann comes and he got to be forced to talk, meaning that the FBI got to pick him up to talk, then you know that's a big, big, big red flag. Because now why are you not talking? The body's back. They did the investigation. At some point, he going to have to talk. At some point. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Miss Knockout Show, everybody. I appreciate you. You can watch the playback on the Y to the Tuesday. All right. Everybody come back in tomorrow morning and we'll continue with the Miss Knockout Show. Hot topics every day. Crime cases, viral stories, you name it. Fun. We always have a blast. Sunday fun day. Everybody else enjoy the rest of your day. All right. And we will reconvene here early tomorrow and we will get back to it because there is a lot to talk about. All right. So I got to go take my contact lens out. As you can see, my eye is redder than a mother. All right. So I got to leave and else I would stay longer if it wasn't for my eye. But I got to go take the lens out and we'll be back early. Look, Hancock talking about he missed Kalila. We'll be back early. Kalila, did you get that in? Did you get that in last night, Kalila? Did you get it in yet or no? We're talking about something else. All right. So we will be back early tomorrow morning and we'll continue with all the stuff we got to talk about. It's not enough time in the day because it's a lot going on. It's a lot. Oh, okay, Kalila. It's a lot going on. All right. It's the world is going crazy. So we're going to be really busy because there's so much to talk about. All right. So everybody make sure you follow me if you're new. Join the super fans if you can. All right. Join the Discord if you can. And my link tree's up there. Make sure you spin my song, Knockout Coming with the Heat. All right. And we will reconvene here tomorrow early because Ms. Knockout got to go take, look how red my eye is. I got to go take my lens out and I will see y'all later. All right. Peace.
It's the Miss Knockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I, share if I, bless if I, the flow. Wisdom is knockout show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat go shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's a miss knockout show. Knockout show. Hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with a miss knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.